Hello and welcome to the Crow's Nest. My name is Brandon Kane. Thank you for coming in and checking out the channel. Thank you to all the new subscribers on the channel. We are coming up again, another big series here. I'm a little late on the dime today, so I'm sorry about that. But a new series here that we're coming up against with the Yankees, as we've had quite a few of them here on the other end of the All-Star break, haven't we? 2 series against the Astros, 2 series against the Yankees. We've been able to measure ourselves up a little bit against some of the better teams in this, on this side of things in the American League. Gilbert's gotten himself into a little trouble here early on. 1 out. He has given up 2 runs here in the first inning. He's made some good pitches within that as well, but certainly the Yankees have done a good job in their approach hitting here early on. Judge going with the pitch for the double that he was able to get, and they've definitely gotten to our guy early here. The Yankees are certainly feeling some national heat, I think we could say. It feels like there's a little bit of a turning on them now of why are you guys scuttling? Why are you not hitting on all phases here? Why are you not as good as you were earlier on in the year? And as many know who've followed the channel, I've wondered and suspected a little bit whether or not the Yankees had peaked a little bit earlier this season. Just a little bit early. Devin Martzall, how's it going, man? It's good to see you in here. Megan Gok, Roger, tickets booked. Accommodation's almost done. On a great day, so I thought I would share my happiness with you all. Gets it done, B. Hope you'd be there. Hope you'd be here. Ketz gets it done. Ketz swing and a miss there. 2-2 count here to Gleyber Torres. Oh, no, strikeout on Gleyber Torres. So a couple Ks here early on for Gilbert. Ketz gets it done, B. Hoped you'd be here. Let's get it done. Sorry. Oh, sometimes I can get lost on it, Megan. We're all like, how does that translation go? Oh, I'm glad. Yeah. No, I'm happy. Let's get it done. Let's do it. I'm looking forward. We got, we're under 2 months now, Megan. August 8th right now, so it's approaching. Big Country, what's up? John Payne, let's go M's. Let's go M's. Let's give it to this Yankee team again. Well, let's give it to him here. Logan gave up a couple of early ones. That's okay. It's all right. He'll settle in. He's pitching pretty good overall here to start things out. Andrew Benintendi is up at the plate. Knocks it back and quickly gets himself into an 0-2 count. Logan here early on, already 2 strikeouts here, so he could give up 2 runs and strike out the side if he can get Benintendi to K here. Mariners able to split the series there with the Angels. Still sitting in pretty good shape as far as the wild card situation goes, but I think none of us would be against a nice fat 6-7 game winning streak. You know, give us a little bit of breathing room here. Certainly don't want to see this thing tight down the stretch. Just makes everything more anxious. All right, 1-2 here with Gilbert. Runner on first, 2 men out. Yankees put 2 here on the board early on in the top of the first. He gets a little under that, does Andrew, and that will knock it up to Crawford, who makes the catch, or Suarez. Out number 3, but the Yankees do get a couple plated here on a solid piece of hitting by Josh Donaldson, who just was able to find the hole, put the barrel of the bat in the ball, clean stroke. You're going to find a hole if you hit it hard, and he did indeed. 283-128, what's up, man? Big Country, still hot. They remind me of last year's Mariners. Yeah, they do have a little bit of that vibe, don't they? Like, they have no business being where they are, but they're there. Whereas we this year, a lot of people thought we could potentially be pretty good this year. Maybe not great, but at least pretty good. That's what gets me worried, though, a little bit with us. We just can't. And look, like I said, we've opened up the All-Star break with 4 series. 4 of the 6 series have been against the toughest competition the American League has to offer, and you've done it without Julio, your most important player in the lineup. But you certainly would like, as you do see these guys sliding back in now, let's hit the injector button now. You know what I mean? Let's hit the NOS. It's time for a good NOS press. Steve Cottrell says, "Welp, this game is already over, I see." Not yet, Steve. Not yet. I mean, it's going to be hard to get to Italian, but I don't think that it's impossible. We were able to get to him last week, so... And Gilbert can definitely settle in. John Payne says, "Are you going to watch the Field of Dreams game this week?" Personally, I think it's super cool. Well done, Major League Baseball. John, it's for a league, John, that's had times where they haven't exactly been at the forefront in their marketing of the sport. There's a lot of reasons the sport is kind of depressed a little bit over the last 25 years in this country, and I think that one of those reasons has to do with a little bit of a laissez-faire attitude by the way that Major League Baseball has marketed itself compared to other leagues in the way that they do it, the way that the NFL has turned its sport into a 24/7, 365 thing that people monitor and watch with the draft and all that. Major League Baseball has their draft, and it just kind of happens. So doing the Field of Dreams thing, I think, was a master stroke on their part. I think they should have regular games being played out there. I think the players would love it. And that's a little bit high. Adam Frazier here out the gate. Jameson Italian up on the hill for the Yankees today. Frazier takes 1-0. Frazier hits it hard there out to Judge, who's tracking it. Put a good ride on it. Judge was just well positioned to get out there in right field and track that sucker down. So I will try to watch it if I can, John. It's going to be with baseball, football season going. It's just crazy busy right now with everything else. But I really do want to watch it, and at the very least, I'll watch those extended highlights they do on it. It is cool. It's there's something about the Field of Dreams, especially growing up as a kid. I both had to read the book in school. I don't know if you guys did. But then also the movie with it. And I saw the movie first and then the book. So it was kind of that dual appreciation thing you get where normally you read the book and then you're disappointed by the movie. Whereas I loved the movie and then I ended up reading the book in school afterwards. And then it just gave you a deeper layer to it, didn't it? And it's really captured. Well, I'm glad Major League Baseball has done that, and they should continue to do it. It's a good, they should continue to build upon this as a spot out there. Ty France up the plate now, 1-1 count. Italian working really fast here. He's just getting right up on the hill, rocking and rolling. France hitting .323 in his last 16 games played, 4 home runs and 11 RBIs. Italian the delivery, knocked into his leg. 1-2. 283 says Baltimore was selling at the deadline and they are still winning games. Exactly. They've got no business, but they're still doing it. It's cool to see. You know, that's what I like that in this sport too. It's just like I like it with us, but any other team is the team that people aren't. There's so many blue blood organizations out there that are just winning every year, from Yankees to the Red Sox to the Dodgers. That's up high. Good job by France here to pull this count to 2-2. You always like it when some of the ones that have been on the bottom for a while start to come up a little bit, percolate. Plus, I think it works in our favor if Baltimore is good up against Toronto there, and they could be a nice counterbalance. Ty with a check swing goes down to the third base side. Easy play for the third baseman, and he throws Ty out for the second out of the game. Italian 2 outs on 7 pitches. 283, I got Santana and Cal going deep tonight. All right, I'm with it. I made my Lewis. I've got to stop making my predictions on home runs because I had the opposite effect. I said Kyle Lewis in the last game was going to hit a home run during the game at some point. He had 4 strikeouts. So the universe has taught me a lesson. I'm going to learn that lesson, and I'm going to move forward without dancing with that devil again. Mitch Haniger now up at the plate. Boy, you could really start to feel a little bit of his particular injection into the Mariner lineup over that Angels series. Some solid bats as you start to add in here and get rolling. That pitch is high, but the curveball found its way down to the bottom of the zone for a strike. That was a close one. Thing looked like it bent right over the top, but the pitch tracker's got it right on the spot, so we'll go with the pitch tracker. 1-1. Haniger gets just a little under it, skies it right behind home plate. The catcher is almost able to make a play, but that will drift back. Foul 1 and 2. Truffles, what's up, bro? How's your night? I'm doing great, man. Just having a chill Monday night, watching my Mariners. It's hot as hell out. None of my streams are working, so I thought I'd come join the chat. Oh, cool, man. Welcome on in. That's what I'm here for, man. If you can't find your way around to it, I know that they've got some roadblocks out there. So you're free to step on in here. I'll give you some scintillating play-by-play. Oh, goodness. Mitch Haniger gives this one a ride. A big-time ride at the top of the zone, and he sends it off the scoreboard in the far left field. The hangman is back in town. Criminals beware. What a ride by Mitchie. He got one at the top of the zone. I don't know if that was a hanger, but it was sticking up at the top of the zone. He said, thank you very much. I'll put that 409 feet out into left field. Yeah, that was just a hanger. Welcome back, Mr. Haniger. Welcome back indeed. It's a different lineup with some of these boys in here. It's a little bit different with some of these boys in here. Starts to get a little closer to legitimate. Legitimate. And that's 100 home runs for Mitch as a Mariner. Puts him 15th all time, just behind Adrian Beltre. Congratulations, Mitch. And hell to the yes. Hell to the yes. We're here, Yankees. We will not go quietly in that night. We will fight. We will say, not today. Today is our Independence Day. Y2KHH is Hanagod. Hanagod words too. MSR Rook says, love the Seahawks, Brandon, but go Yankees. Fair enough, MS. Fair enough. And after getting himself into a quick 0-2 hole here, Winker is taken for 1 and 2. Winker with the grand salami yesterday. He got the rye bread out, a little bit of mustard. I think I saw a stat the other day that Winker's leading the league in walks. Which, again, pretty instrumental to him being in this lineup. Devin, number 100's right. 100. Let's go. Jesse hitting in safely in the last 9 games. He's doing a good job here, too, as well. Just like we saw with Ty France in this inning. Get yourself into a hole, but work your way back over into a midpoint on this count. He's, of course, got a good eye. That's how you lead the league in walks. Winker hitting 230 on the season. The delivery, high. That was a ball. Strike 3, though. He swung at it. Mariners get him back, though. And get him back. 2-1. Fun little first inning there. Big Country says, I see Winker being the DH once J-Rod is back. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Me too. So you got, the way it's shaping up, right? You would go Julio center, Haniger left, Winker DHing. Right field's got to be, to me, Haggerty at this point. Haggerty has done enough. And really it comes down to this. Kelnick and Lewis, this guy Lamb, all these guys might have more talent, quote unquote ability than what we get out of from Haggerty. But everything that Haggerty's shown you is, I got a great glove, I can steal a base, I can run the bases at a plus level, and I'm one of only, me and one other guy in this team are the only 2 guys hitting over 300 this year. And I think you got to weigh that in as well when he comes back. I'm sure you're going to do a little bit of switching in and out with that, and you can play a little bit of lefty matchup with Haniger too if you get if you get a right-hander against you and you want to go lefty matchup with it, by moving out some guys. But both with Lewis and Kelnick, it's going to come down to who's being effective out there once you get down the mid stretch of this, and whether or not we can make excuses for why they're not quite there. If they're not there, you're going to have to kind of angle it in a different direction here. If we got other guys who are pulling their load, so to speak. John says, love seeing Haniger out there getting comfortable. Look out. That's what I'm saying, man. So that's why I was not worried about them not necessarily adding impact bats at the deadline. Haniger, I felt like one of the cluster of Lewis, Kelnick, and be it Haggerty or whatever else, somebody was going to shake out there elsewhere in the outfield as well. There's just too many. There's too good of bats for someone not to give you some kind of impact. And then we've got Frazier coming along, right? He's been after struggling for a large part of the season, coming up to speed here. Everything starts to slide in, click in. And that's a first pitch strike here at the top of the second inning to Jose Trevino. He really wore the Mariners out in that last series. 3 home runs. And Logan bounces one in the dirt. Ron Duffney. What's up, Ron? It's good to see you in the chat. Stephen Cottrell says Kelnick and Lewis should have been shipped out for another bat. I just don't know if there was much value in them. That'd be my only worry with that, is if you were just giving them up for a bag of peanuts, because other teams in the league are saying, well, they're in a different place than they were when they were at their highest trade value. And if I was to learn that was the case, it does at that point just make more sense to wait on them at that point. But Kelnick has come back up and faced a lot of breaking balls. He hit one out in New York, but a lot of strikeouts as well within it. Both him and Lewis kind of having the same problem where they're just at times here looking overmatched. Lewis, before the concussion injury, was looking good throughout the course of this year when he was in the lineup. But post-concussion, it's just not been the same. And we got a quick out here. So Isaiah Kiner-Falefa comes up to the plate now, hitting .274 in the year, no home runs. Logan working fast, quickly gets him into an 0-2 count. I like how quick Logan works. He just gets up there and he's pumping those pitches. As Big Country says, they just have no value. 1-2 now. Betty Bringle says, what's up, Yankees fan from Memphis? Well, hello, Betty from Memphis is a Yankees fan. Best of luck to your team tonight. I wish I could say, can't get good luck. I'll get best of luck. Can't go for a good luck because I want my team to win tonight. But appreciate you checking this out. And as I like to do this channel, we love having all fans in here, not just Mariner fans, even though it's a Mariner channel I do. But I love talking shop with all Major League fans out there. You got a very good team. That's for sure. Isaiah's got 1-2 count on him here now. 1 out. Yankees up 2-1 here. Top of the second. The wind, the delivery. Swing knocked on the ground there to Crawford. He's on it and pumps it over. That will be an out. Nicely played by the slick fielding JP. Megas has got a new Mitchell and Ness throwback jersey today, B. Bo Jackson Raiders. Ooh, that's a tight jersey, Megan. That's a really tight jersey. If I was getting another jersey outside of a Hawk jersey, that would be one definitely within consideration. No doubt about it. Ethan says, when Julio and Trammell come back, got to send down Lewis and Kelnick. I think you're at that spot with both of them, yeah. There's no contact rates, too many strikeouts. Kelnick's probably a bit better than Lewis out in the outfield with the glove, but it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. 2-0 to Aaron Hicks now with two men out. It's a better problem to have going that way than it would be if you had no Haggerty and you're having to still keep running one of those two out, and neither were getting into their rhythm. And at least we have a guy like Haggerty back there where I like having those guys in this lineup and this kind of and where we play here, and having just that ability to play the small ball with some of those guys, less of just the strikeout, a little more of a contact rate, an ability to kind of fight through an account from time to time. And for whatever reason here, Logan's gone quickly 3-0 to Aaron. I want to say last series when Logan pitched, he also kept getting behind on Hicks. I don't know. Maybe it's the Hicks bat wiggle there. And that's ball 4, but that looked like a strike on the outside part of the plate. So Logan will let one guy get aboard here with 2 men down. Randall says, players develop, let Lewis and JK go to AAA. I agree on Haggerty. He's a contributor. Yeah, I'm still not out on him long term. And like us as was said above there by Steven, kind of advocating we should trade. I'm not in the park of trading him. I really don't like the idea of doing that. I'm okay with trading them when they have value. But I want to get something back for 2 guys who I think when it's all said and done, Lewis and Kelnick at the very least are going to be solid major leaguers in this sport. I don't think they're going to be stars necessarily, but they could be very solid major leaguers. And if you can get them back to a point of that value as it's considered league-wide, then you can start to get something else back in return for them, which is, to me, a little more, or package them together with something else and they have a little bit more value from that standpoint. Quick, was that a slider there you just threw him? Like a little slider there? Or was that no, that was his knuckle curve. Strike 1 to DJ LeMahieu. Oh, hit down the line. This is going to be trouble. It will be fair. No, they're calling it foul. Boy, that looked just like Aaron Judge's double down the line early on in this game where Gilbert's got that explosive stuff. With those kind of pitchers, you just try to fight it off, put the barrel of the bat on the ball, don't do too much with it. And boy, that thing just hooked down that line at the last minute off of his bat. Thank goodness, because that probably does score the runner at that point from first. Big time break there. He's got him 0-2 now. Let's see if he snaps back with the slider here. John says, I know it's early, but so far this ump's calling a decent game. Agreed. I haven't had one problem with one call so far. 0-2. Maybe the one on the ball 4 to Hicks, but it wasn't egregious. And he does miss on the slider there. Did he go back to knuckle curve? Is that how he's trying to work him? Yeah, he's trying to work him with a knuckle curve. Okay. I hear you, Katie. All right, 1-2. Aaron Hicks gets his lead from first, 2 men out. Gilbert gives him a little glance. I know you ain't running. I know you're not running. And that ball's hit up into the air. Haniger's up underneath it for out number 3. And that will be it. So retired through a little bit of trouble there, but we will move into the bottom of the second inning with the Yanks up 2-1. King Pookie Man Nation. Okay, I was trying to sub to your channel the other night, and I couldn't find your name when I was searching. YouTube's silly about their search deal. I will get subbed to you, man, though. I was trying to look for you. I just couldn't find it. I'll get it done during the thing tonight, actually. King Pookie Man Nation, you like the Field of Dreams jerseys? I haven't seen them yet. I'll look them up here. Check them out. John says the ump's calling a good game. He's like the anti-CB Buckner. Yeah, he's good. We've had some not bad umps, but umps that have been relatively like, have not been great lately. So, Osama bin Diesel, did the Mets win the Cano trade? Yeah. I mean, Kelnick's still not done here, so I guess it's, if you want to say won the trade as it currently stands, yes. But as far as in the long term, I think that's still to be determined. And look, when it comes to closers in this league and closers that are consistently dominant for a 5, 6 year, 7 year, 8 year stretch, it doesn't happen on the often anymore. To me, if I have a closer that's able to generate the value of getting the best prospect in a particular farm system from a major league team, I'm probably going to jump on that trade 10 times out of 10, just in general terms. Because I think bullpen in general is volatile, and I think closers might be even the most volatile aspect of that from the way from how you can rely on them year to year. Ron Duffney, Glaber trade. Ron Duffney, I like your cat. Thank you. She's very vocal, so you guys will hear a lot of her talking and telling me what's up. She's got a lot of stuff to say here. Eugenio Suarez steps up to the plate now, takes ball 1. Eugenio hitting .231 with 18 home runs on the season. He just tears his bats to shred on that swing, splinters and sends fragments flying across the field. And that ball will meekly go over there for a ground out. Got him right in on the hands. And boy, is that bat toast. I think she's dead, Captain. Boy, that bat came flying at the pitcher, too. Boy, that was very close to impaling a pitcher. That's one way to get a guy out of the game, I guess. All right, 283 says if Santana bombs incoming, I love his confidence. I love his optimism, and I'm going to ride with it. Santana hitting .201 with 10 home runs on the year. First pitch swinging, knocks it into the shift. Second baseman's up with the ball. Out number 2. He loves his first pitch swings, doesn't he? Yes, he does. Paul Ridgely says, I want the Yankees to win for the Orioles. I want the Yankees to win for the Orioles? Don't you? But then wouldn't the Orioles want the Yankees to lose? Oh, I see what you're saying. So they get into the playoff contention stuff. Oh, okay. I wish I could say I was rooting for them too, but I'm not. I'm all for my M's right now. J.P. Crawford steps up to the plate, hitting .257 with 5 home runs on the year. 2 quick outs here for the Mariners, just like last inning. Let's see if maybe J.P. can do a little Mitch the Hangman out there. JP 0-1. Takes a big swing. Knocks it foul. And King Pokemon, I'll get you subbed up here. 283 says, 128 says, I swear Suarez breaks his bat every time. Just doesn't get those hands in, man. You know, he doesn't have that Edgar ability to pull those hands into his chest on those inside pitches. Everything with him is kind of extension. So, you know, he just he can't get out there on the extension, man. And those players, you know, they'll do that deal with their bats where they'll shave down the handles in order to get the bat just a little bit lighter, a little bit faster on their swings. It's an old technique. Let me see here now. All right. King Pookie Man Nation. Pookie Man, you picked a long name. King Pookie Man Nation. It's weird as it still doesn't come up when I type that thing in. Your names, you got to adjust your name down. That's too long of a name, my guy. If I can't find you with a simple search. Know what I mean? Yeah, nothing's coming up. I'm going to have you send the link in the chat, buddy, to your channel, because I've tried to search it twice now. It's not popping up. So send me the link. JP 1-2 count. Up high. Ball 2. 2-2. Osama bin Diesel, best third baseman in Mariner history, Seager or Beltre. Jim Presley. Jim was a guy I was fond of coming up, but I don't think he'd be the best ever there. And Crawford hits this ball up into the air now. That will finish off the inning as Judge runs up to make the catch. Little pop out. Best Mariner third baseman in history would be... It's such a tough question between those two, Osama, because you have a very keen difference here that is one of the factors that makes it hard in debating those two. Because on one hand, you have Beltre, who's here for a smaller sample size of time, and then on the other side of it, you have Seager, who's here for an extended period of time. To me, Beltre is by far the superior player. Adrian Beltre is going to end up in the Hall of Fame. Seager's maybe the Hall of Good, I guess. So if you're talking about, who do I want? If I could add to this team right now, I would want to add Adrian Beltre. If we're talking about who was the good long soldier, then I guess Seager. So it's kind of a tough one on that one. Y2K says we're not putting Haniger in left. Has he ever played left? Haniger will play left. Haggerty will play left. That makes sense. I got it switched up there a little bit. There's more room to cover in left, so it makes sense you'd have Haggerty out there as the more fleet of foot guy to get to some of those balls. Randy says, think Evan White ever will be on the big league team again? Kind of feels like not, doesn't it, Randall? How do I stretch the pitch? How do you stretch the pitch by pitch scoreboard? Stretch it? What do you mean by that? Not sure what you mean by that, sorry. Paul says, I'm rooting for the Yankees so Orioles can be in the wild card. Yeah, but then, Paul, we're not in the wild card. I mean, I know you're feeling bad for the Orioles, but, buddy, we've had to wait 20 years. Throw us a little bit of some mojo here, man. We've had 20 years with no playoff appearances, okay? 20 years. 20 years. Give us some love. Give us some love. We need it. Orioles got World Series they got the 70s. The Orioles got the 70s, okay? They had their time. They've had a time. We haven't even had a time. And this is the way you like to have this. Aaron Judge leading off the top of the third inning. And boy, what a fun matchup this is. Power on power. Judge and Gilbert. Judge hitting .303 with 43 home runs on the year. Knocked a double in the first inning out to right field on a good piece of hitting. Draws a 1-out count here. Another one of those situations where you're very tempted to just put him on base. Just put him on. And take your base, Aaron. Take your base. Logan with wide the delivery and throws one in the dirt. Indeed, it does look like he is pitching around Aaron on this particular bat. Devin Martzall says Jim Presley, laughing out loud. Don't sell Jim Presley short. Jim had that sweet, sweet right-handed swing. He put 27 out in a year in the Kingdom. That ball is hit far and deep, and he's, dies at the warning track. Judge gets acquainted with some of that marine layer air out there in T-Mobile Park. Knocks it down like a heavy wind coming off Chicago's Lake Erie waters. It's just the way it rolls out here, Aaron. Guess you won't be signing here as a free agent. And Winker, as always, with his unorthodox defense in left field. A little bit of rumbling, a little bit of stumbling. Somehow, some way, he finds a way to get his mitt up at the last second and make the catch. And Randall says Judge has to be the biggest ball player. He does. He looks legit like a linebacker. Legitimately. All right, so 1 out here. Gilbert played with fire there. He went 3-0 and gave him some meat. He gave him some plate meat. And that plate meat was almost put over the fence. King Pokemon Nation, did the link work? I didn't see the link in here. Where's your link? Where's your link? Did the link work? I didn't see the link in here now. Y2KHA says David Bell for life. David was pretty good, too, for a bit of time. David wasn't bad. I'm with you on that. All right, let's try that. There we go, King Pookie Man. Gotcha. We good. All right, Tim LaCastro has come in to take over now for the injured Matt Carpenter. Carpenter knocked a ball off his instep in his first plate appearance and looked very painful. Manager came out. They gave him a second to kind of breathe it off. He ended up striking out. So it does look like that it was hit it in that one bad spot you don't want to hit on your foot right there where probably the top of the bone there, where you don't have any flesh to kind of give you a layer. And that's lined out to center field there by LeCastro for out number 2. Logan Gilbert has, after a rough opening start here, started to settle down. King Pokemon Nation says, do you have Twitter or Instagram? I have Twitter. You can find me by Seahawks, at Seahawks Nestor, or Brandon Kane, one of the two. Yeah, Randall, he's just a monster. He is. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with him on that contract situation, or if he ends up signing somewhere else. I could see the Angels signing Aaron Judge. Seems like an Angel move. Or the Rangers even. All right, 1-0 here. Gilbert with the wind. Slider misses outside. To Josh Donaldson. Donaldson did a great job in the first inning of really fighting through that at bat, getting back behind in the count, and then just on a pitch that was low, throwing that bat out, getting the barrel on it. And he hits this one high and deep. And that ball is gone into the second deck of left field. Just as I was speaking about how good he was hitting on that first at bat, he went even better on number 2. Sent that one 415 feet, 110 mile an hour exit velocity. And boy, he jumped all over that pitch. Got into a hitter's count. And Raleigh was set up to have him hit that four-seamer outside. That four-seamer ended up riding all the way back inside into the danger zone for Donaldson. So Gilbert just missed his spot there flat out. But a good piece of hitting here by Donaldson, who is early in this game giving the Mariners a significant amount of troubles. Gleyber Torres is up at the plate now. Quickly gets into an 0-1 count. My pleasure, King Pokemon Nation. Keep doing your thing on that side of this, It's sometimes a grind on channels and stuff to get to that side, but just stay with it, I think longevity pays off with this type of thing. 1-1 outside, 96 mile an hour fastball. Ethan says, just walk, don't scare me out. Osama, all but the Red Sox get in the playoffs in the AL East. Was that the plan all along with the 3 wild cards? Perhaps. Perhaps. I think they just want to make it more exciting for baseball fans to say engaged. That's the real reason, is that they know when there's only so few spots, people are going to check out come mid-August, and your attendance falls off through the back 1/5 of your season. All right, Torres got a 2-2 count here with Gilbert. Knocked foul on a real tough slider there. Good piece of hitting by Gleyber. Paul says, yep, but the Orioles are my team, so fair enough then, Paul. I thought you were a Yankees fan saying that, so. Knocked down the line. This is trouble. Off the wall. Haniger up with it, fires it into second base with his hand cannon and keeps it to a very long single. Well, this is what this Yankee lineup can do. They can hit. They can definitely hit. Nice throw there by Haniger. He got up with that ball very fast. Almost went up over the wall to right field. Yankees doing a good piece of hitting in this game. I've seen Judge, LeMahieu, and Gleyber now. With the power pitcher, what you really want to do is, rather than what you might normally do with a normal pitcher of really just turning fully into your stroke and your swing and trying to pull stuff, you're not going to get around on that. And so what you want to do is just really try to go with that power and almost use it against the pitcher a bit. And that's what you've seen on some of these swings. LeMahieu just missed getting one in on the line with one of it earlier. And certainly Gilbert's been just a bit off in his location here this game at times. He was on for there about an inning and a half and just kind of slid out of it here now. Delivery is high ball. 2-0 here to Andrew Benintendi. Y2K says Winker has the worst ball has to be the worst ball player at sliding I've ever seen. Probably, yes. Ron Duffney, can the Yanks trade Glaber? No, we're past the trade deadline at this point. And that ball's hit down the line. This is trouble. Again, Haniger up with it. Glaber rounding third. He's coming home. Can't come up with it. Raleigh on the pickup, and he will score. The Mariners had him dead to rights at home. The throw into the plate was just poorly thrown in there. The Mariners have been so good in their defense, but on this particular play, let down. Again, Haniger, as he did on the previous play, a good job of getting the ball in. Crawford just I almost feel like Crawford thought maybe the runner wasn't going to go. And so he sort of set himself up there to, like the cutoff man did not come out there on that spot. It was a real weird defensive play, kind of like a brain fart play and then the throw by Crawford was just real rough for Cal to have to pick that up. It went to the wrong side of the plate. He had to backhand it off a bounce and then pull it back through. Nonetheless, the Yankees had another run here, 4-1 with 2 outs. And again, Logan Gilbert getting a little bit struck here by the batters just going with the pitches opposite field. Between Judge, previous hitter, LeMahieu, that hit, they've all kind of been the same kind of swings there on these pitches. They're doing a good job of it. If I'm Gilbert here, I've got to adjust on these right-handers at this point and maybe look to start trying to they're kind of locking on that outside part of the plate. I might try to start working a little bit more inside here. Get them off that clearance that they're getting across. Randall says juiced McGuire on the Cards was a monster at the plate too. Not as tall but as Judge, but a giant nonetheless. Yeah, just as yoked. That's for sure. If not more so yoked. He had like bodybuilder type body out there. Did McGuire. But yeah, probably a couple inches off. I think McGuire was like a 6'2" guy, right? 1-1 here to Jose Trevino. Bounced foul. Yeah, Ron, though, we're past the deadline. We can't do any more. Have a good night, Ron. Sector 7, that miss is on Cal, I think. That throw was fine, I think. No, you don't put it out away from you got to get that throw on, and if you're going to bounce it at the guy. And instead, he bounced that ball to the side of the plate, which was to the far side of the plate. So Cal's got to not only pick it there. This ball's knocked on the ground, thrown almost too high there, but France is able to bring it in. So that, when the pitch is coming here, and I've got to come out this way to grab it, and I got to pick it, and then come all the way back down with the player who's closing down the line. You want it right here, or if it's going to miss to the side where the runner's coming in, so that when that comes up off the bounce, I'm not having to move it from the other side. I can then just put the tag down. And Crawford really did miss pretty far on that play. It's a play you can make as a catcher. You've seen it made before, but the fielder's making it very hard on him with that type of throw. I don't have a problem with the bounce. I get that's the way fielders will throw it sometimes, so they can get an extra mustard on it without having it sail on them. But you can't put it away from the other side of the plate, in my opinion. 283 says, geez, Mitch has a cannon. He does have a cannon out there. Compared to what we've seen, we've got some lollipoppers. King Pokemon Nation, when they start calling up September players? September. It's literally September 1st. Y2KA says, if you look at Gilbert's StatCast, he is one of the worst in the league at allowing hard contact. Yeah, you can see why. I think as well, too, with him, he's got the overpowering stuff. When you're that way, you can get away with stuff. You got more of a margin for error. But at the end of the day, if you're putting a pitch in the wrong spot, if you have like that pitch to Donaldson where catcher's sitting on the outside part of the plate and you not only miss just a little bit outside or maybe just a little bit to the middle part of the plate, you now get all the way back to the inside part of the plate, which I don't know Donaldson, but I'm going to make a wild guess that that's probably one of his hot zones for hitting. That's where that's going to show itself, more often than not, or not more often than not, but it will hurt you. And a team like the Yankees will, find a way around that. A little discouraging to see. You'd hope Gilbert would hold up a little bit more against this lineup. I'm not expecting him to shut him out, but this is, a potential matchup we could be seeing later on this year if we do get in the playoffs. And he is going to be one of those guys we're going to need to be as that run of three starting pitchers in that series to hopefully go out there and make it happen. Spectre 7, Cal's glove was right there. It was. I mean, he could make the play. It's just if you look at the stat tracker, if the guy's coming from third base and I've got to reach to the right of home plate to go get that ball and then pull it back over, as it's on a bounce and I got to pick it. Again, you can make that. It's a makeable play. Catchers do make those plays, but you, as an infielder there, you're not getting that ball on a hop, right? You're getting that on a line. You're getting that with the ability to really just catch that, turn and go. To be that inaccurate on that throw, I put it more back to the infielder. Cal has seen his average kind of lately here dip below 200 again. It's kind of gone a little bit quiet as of recent. It's done a good job getting into a 2-0 count, and then the ump has one of his rare misses here for a strike call on 2-0. So the Mariner bats can start doing something here in the bottom of the third. Been a little bit quiet up until in this game outside of Haniger's home run, and Cal takes a big swing but knocks it back. Big Country says, I thought it was a bad throw. All right. Yes, you're with me on it. Two-two pitch here to Cal, and he got him to swing. Yep. They checked down. It was a check swing. Nasty looking little slider there. Just couldn't hold up. Ethan says Logan needs to find his changeup and slider. He's completely lost his changeup. Changeup's a good counter for some of this hard contact. Because now you get him in that spot where they're just looking to flick the bat out there, and now they end up out on their front foot, and you're going to get a lot of silly swings. But I agree with you. And watching him recently, it does feel like the changeup rate has gone significantly down. And boy, changeup for a power pitch is a power pitcher's best friend. Can take a while to master it, though, too. 0-1 here to Haggerty. Fights off, gets himself 0-2, swings at a pitch out of the zone. A lot of aggressiveness in these bats in the lineup of the Mariners tonight. And that's hit on the ground to the first baseman. He's all over it, and that will walk it out for out number 2. Voodoo Magic Logan was due to regress. He's still young, but Mama said there'd be days like this. Yeah, well said. Very well said. Young guy finding his way is only in his second year. We do have to be patient with these guys, even as we are anxious to see them bloom. Frazier up the plate now. High strike call. A couple of pitches this inning here now. The ump's starting to lean off the rails here on a few of these calls. 0-1. Bounced. Ball 1. Spectre 7 says when we need to take this series to keep pace. If we can't smack the division around outside the Rangers, then we have some trouble. Still lots of games versus the Guardians too. True. I've been advocating patience, but we are at a spot now where we're quickly motoring our way into the midpoint of August here. And Orioles are coming on. Blue Jays aren't going away. It would be nice to see them kind of kick this in a little bit here. That ball's knocked right up the middle there into the shift. Shortstop's all over, and he'll throw him out there for out number 3. So the Mariners just not managing much so far here. And through 3 innings, they are down 4-1. Tallion's only got 38 pitches compared to Gilbert's 66. Gilbert's almost got double the amount of pitches. No one in the Mariner lineup right now has driven a walk, 2 strikeouts. I'm trying to beg this lineup to do a little bit more of is just display a little bit more active patience at times. Don't be so big on needing to take, win a whole game back with one swing. And I'm watching some pretty mighty swings in this game and watching them get quickly into bad counts again at times. Megan says, I'm heading out, gang. Head's not really there. We'll catch up soon. Sounds good, Megan. Have yourself a good night. And congrats on getting those tickets. Look forward to seeing you in October. So, Hector, I'm probably just nervous because I've been through this with this team before. I get where you're coming from on it. As I've said, I've talked about Sector 7. It's like PTSD. And, you've had 20 years of it now. It's not just 5 years of it. It's not 10 years of it. It's 20 years of being on this particular ride that ends in the way it ends. And that's why I've said I can't bemoan people that fall into a bit of is this just going to turn right down to that same lane that it always seems to turn down? And that's 2 decades of having a result play out the same way. I think it will go differently when this year is all said and done. I think we will find our way into that playoffs. I think Julio being out of this lineup is huge. And not just what he brings with his glove and not just, of course, what he brings with his bat, but also, and maybe I'm going too superfluous here, but with his presence in the lineup. I feel like when he's out of this lineup, we just have a whole different energy that we bring. Gilbert back out here now for the top of the 4th inning. Yankees up 4-1. 1-0 here to Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Hits that a mile into the air. Frazier comes up underneath it there for out number 1. D-Boy's in the house. How you doing, D-Boy? Good to see you. And I'm doing great. Hope you're doing well. 283, remember, we don't have Julio. That's right. Don't have Julio. Just got to be patient. Be patient. He will help. All right, Aaron Hicks up to the plate now. Hicks was able to draw a walk last time he was up. I don't know why. Gilbert just doesn't seem like he feels comfortable against Hicks. Starts out ball 1 here. Bounces a slider in the plate. So certain hitters, I guess, just you don't feel good with it. Doesn't matter what they hit. Just don't feel good with them when they lock in the plate. Seattle with a unique shift employed here. That pitch is outside. Ball 2. Big Country just hoping the AL East and AL Central beat each other up. It's kind of what we need, Big Country, don't we? And just give us some of that. And the good news is down the stretch, those teams do play more of each other. That's how Major League sets it up with the schedule. And this ball's hit up into the air. Suarez giving chase. He's got it. Great play by Suarez. Very casual. Looked like he was doing the kind of trot they do when the ball's definitely going to go out of play. Just kind of like, it's going out of play. Just kind of lifts his glove last second, catches it, goes into the bar there. Oof. Nice grab by Suarez. Boy, he's a real good third baseman on balls that are popped up, flyouts, those type of things, and foul grounds. He's very good at getting on his horse, tracking those balls, and he'll get to them. This brings up DJ LeMahieu now. 2 outs. Quickly. That was a strike, right? Yeah, quickly a strike there. LeMahieu 1 for 2 with a single in this game. That'll be low, ball 1. Again, this would be nice because you can turn this over into the top of the 5th with Aaron Judge to lead it off if you can get an out here. Logan takes a little bit of time here to figure out the signs, gets set, the wind, delivery, knocked on the ground up the middle for a base hit. Damn it. This will bring up Aaron Judge with a chance to put this game pretty seemingly far out of reach considering where the bats have been at for the Mariners on average as of recent. Gilbert flips back his glove there after that ball was hit up the middle. Disgusted with himself. 4-1. Will Judge put this thing away early as in the top of the fourth? Or can Gilbert get himself out of trouble? He went 3-0 to Judge in the last time he was up and then flirted with the fastball, dead red, right over the middle of the plate. Judge gave it a mighty ride, but it managed to fall just before it got to the fence. 1-0 here. Gilbert comes set. Strike. Well, then we were looking for his change. And then he threw it. We were calling for it. That was you, Y2, okay? He threw it. And you notice Judge just took it. You got to mix it in. 1-1. High upside, inside, 96 mile an hour. It says that he hit him. Just barely nicked him on the forearm. And Judge is going to go take his base. Better than a home run. And those players with that armor, man, you can see their Judge. He can see it very early on is going to come and hit him. Doesn't really turn out of the way, just sort of sticks the elbow out there with that armor on the elbow. And it hits him. I'm not saying I wouldn't say the armor shouldn't be legal, but maybe if the pitch goes off the armor, it's not a hit. I just made that up. 2 runners on here now, 2 outs, 1-0 count to LaCastro. Grug, stat predictions for DK Metcalf this year. I'll go with 75 catches, 1,350 yards, 13 touchdowns. Big Country says, well, this inning's going really well. He can still get himself out of it here with no damage here if he can get past LaCastro. Swung and knocked out there to right. LaCastro doing the very similar approach that we saw that has been successful for the Yankees today and just trying to get the bat on the ball and go with the pitch. Go oppo. Just wasn't able to get it down around the foul pole around that line, so Haniger was able to get up underneath it and make the catch. But you can see what the Yankees are doing in their approach here with Gilbert. And as much as the adjustment for this game, I would look, as we do if we look down the road and have to play this team again, in consideration of a game plan on, okay, this is how they've chosen to attack him. Now maybe Gilbert adjusting his approach, be it as he leads into games against the Yankees next, a little bit more of the use of changeup, maybe a little bit more of working it inside. He says, good grief, Logan, get it together. He pulled out of it. He got out of it. 4 innings, 4 runs. It ain't pretty, but it's only 3 runs. We're definitely in this. Yeah, I think DK is going to go off Grug this year, though. I think the running game is going to pull the double teams off of him, and once that happens, he's going to get single coverage, and he's going to eat against that single coverage. All right, Mariners up on deck. Got Ty France, Mitch Haniger, and Winker. So the middle of the lineup coming up here now. Big Country says, damn, JP has 3 errors in the last 5 games. Did they give the error to JP on that? They did. So I was right. You were right too, Big Country. The groundskeeper agrees with us. You can't, if the throw's on a hop to Raleigh and it's at Raleigh, the groundskeeper, and he drops it, the groundskeeper will put it on Raleigh there. But if it's to the right of the play like that, I think that's enough for the groundskeeper to go, okay, that's on him. That's a cool shot of the jet ski on the lake or Puget Sound. Flying along. Truffles, we still got an opportunity to come back in this game. You better believe we do. This ain't over yet. And Nalen isn't exactly the best starter, but he's definitely holding it down now. And Ty France again showing the aggressive approach of your Seattle Mariners lineup. First pitch swinging and grounds it out meekly to third base. I understand this kid's going to pump the zone. But at the same time, would it kill our guys to take a pitch? Mitch Haniger up now, responsible for the only run in this game. A long home run out to left field early on. Takes ball one. Mitch, a very welcome return to this Mariner lineup and very, very needed. Knocks it out right there for a base hit between the shortstop and the third baseman. Good piece of hitting there by Mitch as he continues to be very hot since coming back from the IL. Good swing again. Even swing there. You see he puts on no uppercut. Line drive swing. Line drive swings are going to be more of those balls like that aren't going to have a lot of lift to them. But they're hit so hard, there's a good chance they're going to find a hole because they're hit so solidly. Very good approach there by Mitch. Oh, he's gone full bald. All right, Jesse Winker up to the plate now. Winker struck out in the first inning. See if the Mariners can get something started here with one out. First pitch, strike. I like him taking, though, on that first pitch. It was a gnarly little curveball. I don't think Winker's going to do a whole lot with that if he swings at it. And again, the Yankees employing that Uber shift where Donaldson's very close to the second base bag. You almost starts to feel like four guys to that right side. Swing and a miss. Strike two. Gave him a pitch there. You can see it on the tracker. That's right there to do something with it. And he just swung right through it. Quickly 0-2 here to Jesse. High, ball one. Grug says, yeah, I think DK and Taylor have huge years this season. Both will make the Pro Bowl. Agreed. I would project that as well. 100%. Haniger gets his lead first, and Nalen comes set. Low. Good job here by Winker to get this count back to 2-2. He did this in the very last at bat as well, and then ended up swinging at a pitch high out of the zone. Let's see if he can keep that patience here that he's employed over these last two pitches. Italian set. Swing and a miss at a 95-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside part of the plate. Second strikeout of the game for Winker. Continues to just be very far. I mean, he's drawing walks, and he got the ground slam yesterday, but just so far off of where he was last season as a hitter. And he's in a different ballpark here, but it's not the bandbox that is Cincinnati. And now that average does dip back down to 229. Going to need more from him here down the stretch. Suarez steps up now, takes a first pitch strike on a cutter. Right in the middle of the plate. Grug, I missed J-Rod. I bet the Astros pitchers timed it perfectly so that the ball would mash Julio's wrist. I mean, it was I don't think that they were throwing at him necessarily. I don't think that they were fearful of throwing inside to him, but I don't think they were throwing at him. And that ball's in the dirt. That'll allow Haniger to get over to second base there. I think it was a slider. It's just you're not usually going to hit a guy on a slider. But maybe so. Maybe you just make it slide right into him. Kind of a lazy job by the Yankees catcher there to block that pitch. So Yanni Henio's got a 1-1 count now. Oof. He is attacking Suarez inside. Suarez able to hold up, just barely able to hold up on that. But Italian's definitely working that inside part of the plate with him. He doesn't want to let Eugenio get his arms extended. Three, we needed a wink walk. We did need a wink walk. We didn't get it, though. Oh, again, gets him almost a bite, but again, Suarez is able to somehow hold up. It almost looked like he swung through on both of these two, but he just somehow is held up as bad as it's going through the zone. Yanks manager Boone doesn't look happy with those two calls. 3-1 now here to Suarez. Let's see if he can get a pitch to drive. Oh, great pitch by Italian. Just a phenomenal. That's called painting the black right there on the inside part of the plate. Suarez already knows he's had a hard time with those pitches. I ain't going to do none with that. If they go away here, that'd be nasty on Italian's part. But I think they're going back inside. That's where I would, and they do go outside. What a great pitch. Great job by Suarez to take the walk. Awesome job by Italian there to work that count. Pounds the inside of the zone. Gets it in on Suarez's hand. He's already destroyed one of Suarez's family heirloom bats this game. And then you've got Suarez, no doubt, on that pitch thinking inside. And he just goes outside, just misses a couple inches off the plate. But that's where, from a pitcher standpoint and setting up a batter, that is the rhythm by which you set a batter up. That's how you get a batter completely fooled on a payoff pitch just like that. Great at bat. Well, who was calling for a Carlos Santana home run? Because I got a black magic woman and a need for a second deck shot. Carlos hitting 200 with 10 home runs on the season. Gets a first pitch curve that he takes for a ball low. Big Country says Suarez drives me nuts sometimes. He does. He does a little. I'm okay with Suarez because at least he's a plus glove in the field and he's got that power that will show up, a little bit like Raleigh, where at least you're getting some power there. Here comes the pitch inside, 2-0. So the free swinging Carlos Santana's done a good job here of getting into a 2-0 count. He's going to get a good pitch to hit here. He's going to get a good pitch. Dead red fastball. Two men on, Mariners down 4-1. Low. Italian struggling to find his location a little bit here. Well, I don't know if you're free swinging here if you're Santana, are you? I think you're probably taking 3-0. He's not having the kind of year that I'm going, I'm giving him the green light with his 200 average. Well, I'm definitely doing that. How about no? 3-0. High, ball 4. Up out of the zone. I like Carlos taking there. Bases loaded. Go ahead runner steps to the plate. Here we go. Ethan says, Santana, don't swing, please. Exactly. Guy's missing like that. He's kind of lost a little bit of his feel for where he's trying to get his location here in this inning. Don't bail him out. I still subscribe to the thought process. I'm only going green light on the lineup, like for maybe one or two of my hitters in the lineup. If I get you get a pitcher to a 3-0, I'm going to want to then see you get it to a 3-1. And then we can talk again about you getting back in and dialing up your big swings at that point. To me, it's just you're more often than not going to end up bailing a pitcher out of trouble at that point. And most hitters that do it in this day and age at times that have that green light aren't good enough to do what they need to be doing with it. J.P. Crawford up to the plate now. A guy you like having up here with the bases loaded. Strike. Inside part of the plate. Fastball. Good pitch by Italian there. Rode that four-seamer right back from the inside part just over the plate there. Rode really well. Good movement there on that pitch. Italian comes set. 0-2. Crawford fouls it back. That's right, Ethan. It's like you read your request. Sardes has to reduce the strikeouts. Only issue with him? Yeah. It's the one place you'd like to see some improvement on. And I think, again, some of it, the improvement where that can come from is the patience in the account, and taking a few more pitches. 0-2. Inside, 1-2. But the whole theory with the the green, giving a hitter a green light on 3-0 is that you're going to get a fastball down the middle of the plate. And I think pitchers have adjusted over the years to not necessarily giving in on just 3-0 counts. They're not as worried about walks as they used to be. 1-2 here. Mariners with a grand slam yesterday. High, ball 2. Great job by JP here. Got himself in a hole. He's managed to get it back to an even count here, 2-2. Italian licks his lips. A little sheen of sweat breaking out on those chubby cheeks. The delivery, high, ball 3. Four-seam fastball, very high. 3-2. Service, nervous over there in the dugout. Cal Raleigh looming on deck. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Yankees up 4-1. The fans are on their feet. Can JP come through as he has in the past couple of years? Can he get back into this lead, get the Mariners back into this game? 3-2, payoff pitch to JP. Swing, knocked foul back. Gnarly little pitch that he was just able to get a little bit of the bat upon. Three, 2. Runners get back to set. They will be running with the pitch. Here is the payoff. That ball is hit up, foul. JP staying alive. Staying alive. Curveball there. Tough pitch to deal with. Italian showing some balls throwing that curveball there on a 3-2. Back-to-back, if I'm not mistaken. Showing you he knows he can work it in the zone as he needs. 3-2. Italian comes set. Here is the payoff pitch. Runners go. Knocked foul again. JP continues to stay alive. Boone shakes his head. How did he fight that off? Italian shakes his head. How did he fight that off? JP is a tough man to strike out. 13% rate on the year. 22% is the major league average. 3-2 pitch. Here we go. Hit again, foul. Gave him a fastball down the middle of the plate. JP couldn't just quite get around on it. Defensive swing there. JP gave it a good ride. He gave it a good swing. But it looked like he got the swing late, trying to make sure he's staying set for that curveball. Hard to gear up on that fastball if you got thinking curveball to stay alive. 3-2 now. Knocked foul again. JP continues to stay alive. Great job by JP here. Making Italian work this inning. Same pitch as before, just a fastball down the middle. Talion said, okay, enough with the curves. I was wondering how many of those curves he was going to throw 3-2 with the bases loaded. So easy for that thing to just wildly drift out of the zone on you. Three-two pitch. JP wiggles the arm, wiggles the bat, gets ready to go. Low ball four. What an at-bat by J.P. Crawford. Manufacturing a way to get on base there. Talion threw him some naughty pitches. And Crawford was managing to fight them off, hang in there, make him work, gets on base, and the Mariners chip away at this Yankees lead 4-2. Well done, JP. What a hell of an at-bat. And those two-strike swings are a little bit of what I talk about, where you see some of the batters in our lineup thinking that they're reiteration of Babe Ruth and that with two strikes they can swing for the fences. Cal Raleigh up now. Mariners behind 4-2. Bases are still loaded. Cal first pitch swinging, hits this high and deep. I think it's foul. It looks like it's foul. Boy, that one was hard to tell. He rode that one. Lord, have mercy. Cal gave that one a ride. He was all over that pitch. And it must have just drifted there over at the end. Boy, he hammered that. He's not going to see he ain't seen another fastball in this line. That was a cutter, but I'm sure the pitcher's like, okay, going back to the curve now. Oh, he goes back to fastball. High. Cal was looking curved there, late on it. Strike two. Talion's done a good job of mixing his pitches off what you might think is coming. 0-2 now here to Cal. Boy, did he just miss it on that last one. I'm still trying to get over that first swing where he really put a ride on that one. 0-2. Outside, 1-2 on a curveball. Come on, big dumper. That's right. Get the big dumper. He's a dump one up there in that back there again here. Give us the lead. Big country, man. This feels like a playoff game. Hey, fans are on their feet right now in the stadium, folks. There's an electrified environment going on. You can just kind of feel it through the screen. People can sense something's going on here. High, ball two, 95 mile an hour fastball up way at the top of the building tops. Cal doing a great job like we saw with JP. Get yourself 0-2, but don't die easy. Keep fighting. And that's just what Cal's doing here. Good job on his part. Is the second pitch he was not in the zone. Got him to swing out. Make him throw you a strike here. 2-2. Bases loaded. 2 men out. Mariners down 4-2. Here's delivery. Low. Knocks it to first base, and that will be the final out of the inning. But the Mariners are able to crawl back with another run. They're able to make Talion work significantly in this inning. He's up to 72 pitches now through 4 innings. And if Gilbert can continue to kind of hold in here for a couple of innings to get to our bullpen, we can crawl back into this thing on our belly. Yeah, 2-8-3. Talion 34 pitches that inning, so you got him to work. You can get into this Yankee bullpen, which you can come after. You can get after this Yankee bullpen a bit, especially with how Talion's worked us today. But I just like the at-bats in that inning by our Mariner lineup. Just great job of the way they attacked it. Even Cal there, yeah, you got yourself 0-2, but then working yourself back in the lineup the way JP did. From the majority of the lineup, it's been an overall solid approach. We still have our guys that are as I call them, the black holes, where you get to them and it just suddenly turns into nothing offer. But other guys, Santana drawing the walk in that inning. Great job on their part. It's only one run, but again, we're down 4-1. You got to kind of carve back into that. It's a one-at-a-time kind of game there. Stephen Cottrell says we need walk-in runs. Yes, we do. Ethan says, geez, imagine if consistently got the big hit in those situations, we'd score like 5 to 10 runs a game. Well said. And you're, of course, lamenting what has been an issue for our Mariner team this year, and not just this year, but also going back to last year, which is that hitting with runners in scoring position continues to be an issue. Continues to be hard for us. Spectre 7 says, hey, this really hard cider is doing the trick. Hell yeah, man. We got the run, Big Country. You're right. Would have liked more, but I'll take it. We're going to go through the middle to bottom of this lineup over the next couple of innings. Carpenter's out of the lineup now. Gilbert can just lock himself in here. All right, Gilbert back up to the hill. He has 80 pitches here through 4 innings. The Yankees have had a real solid approach against him here today. It's not just been a one bad inning. It's been solid contact. Big knuckle curve there. Slides in at the top in part of the zone from Josh Donaldson. Donaldson has been the star for the Yankees today. Clutch base hit in the first inning, and then a monster home run. And he hits this one high and deep. And that ball is off the wall. Well played by Winker. He gets it in quick. But Donaldson continues to mash. Another double there. And Gilbert just left. I don't know what's gone on here with Gilbert on Donaldson, but that's the second time now Donaldson did this on the home run where Cal Raleigh set up on the outside part of the plate. And this wasn't a fastball like last time where it was a four-seamer that went back over the middle of the plate. But on this one, it was a slider. And it's got to be on the outside part of the plate. And instead, Cal's getting it up and inside, far away from where Raleigh's setting up. He's had a hard time today with his location. You're missing far off at that point, as I thought last time. That's probably in the power zone of Donaldson as it was on the home run. You probably want to stay out of that middle of the plate spot. It's Gleyber's Torres into a 1-1 count now. Stephen Cottrell says if Cal just didn't swing, it would be 4-3. Patience is a big thing with this team. It's the one thing I lament that they could improve right now. There's not a lot of things with this team that I think they need to improve upon. I think they get good starting pitcher. The bullpen does well. They have hitters that are especially with Haniger back in the lineup, are becoming more legitimate. But and that pitch is swung back 1-2. But the over aggressiveness at times, the sort of the seeking out to be the hero, you gotta let it come to you a little bit more, I think, from their standpoint. So 1-2 here to Gleyber Torres, nobody out. Josh Donaldson on second base for the Yankees. Be a big strikeout here if Gilbert can get this. Stephen Cottrell says Donaldson's 5 for 5 against Gilbert. Well, Gilbert's. I would say that he has Gilbert's number if Gilbert wasn't missing on these pitches that he's hitting so hard. Gilbert's not putting it on the spots, and maybe Donaldson's seen him really clearly, but when the catcher says you need to be on the outside corner, you end up on the inside and up, outside and low, and you end up hanging a slider inside and up, and you do it back-to-back at bats. A hitter like Donaldson with his power is going to make you pay the price for it. Spectre 7 says, looks like we're getting some reinforcements back Wednesday, maybe even Julio, but he may opt to come back Friday for that extra Thursday off. I'm sure in favor of giving him plenty of rest on this one. I am. I think it's going to serve as a little bit of a blessing in disguise for Julio as we go down the home stretch, because if you had him playing through all these games, you really got to wonder if by the time you get in the playoffs, if he's not just a little bit tapped out at that point, being a 21-year-old kid going through his first full season and now he's into a playoff run. I think at the end of the day, giving him this time that he had off after the All-Star break, and then he played a couple games, and now you've given him this set of a couple weeks off. I don't know where his wrist is at necessarily, but you do hope. Torres knocks this ball up into the air. This is going to be, that's trouble. And that is into the gap. It's going to be another double. Runners. Interesting. Okay. Runners on second and third. Runner had to hold up to make sure that Haggerty was not able to catch that. And we're just talking about Julio there. Does Julio get to that ball? And I think maybe so. It was definitely not it was going to be a tough play for him to get to there, but the Yankees are getting to Gilbert here. A lot of hard hit balls in this game on Gilbert. Yeah, that ball carried Big Country. It didn't look like he put that good a swing on it. I just thought it was going to be a sac fly out there that would push the runner over. Swing and a miss here on Benintendi. Four doubles and a home run tonight for the Yankees. Boy, and again, another hard hit ball up over Winker's head. This is another double. Just play after play after play. We're watching this right now. Logan Gilbert in this game is just not finding his spots at all. He does not know where the ball is going to go when it leaves his hand right now. And unfortunately, where he doesn't know it's going to go is that it then ends up over a meaty portion of the plate. Just another hanging slider there that didn't slide, stuck right over the mid part of the plate. And as the Yankees have done all day, they're not trying to, they're just going with the pitch. They're not trying to pull that thing and yank it. I'll go right with it and drive it. And that's what they're doing. It's been opposite field after opposite field after opposite field hit in this game, along with some home runs and a couple doubles they pulled too. But this is one of the more poor performances I've seen from Logan Gilbert this season. I got to be honest with you. He's been dynamite for this ball club, but he has been just wildly off in his location today. And I don't know if maybe right now with Logan, they got to consider he's looking last couple of starts a little bit shaky here. Is this, I've been thinking about with you got a guy on deck you traded for in the starting rotation. You got Luis Castillo here with Kirby right now. Maybe a little bit of a six-man rotation thing wouldn't be the worst thing here to give some of these guys that have pitched a lot of innings so far this season a little bit of that extra rest. But it does look like Service is going to come out and make the call here, which I think you have to do at this point. It's far too many hard hit balls on Logan Gilbert in this game. Logan just really struggled. Sector 7 says, I think Logan's arm's just toast this year. Could be. I mean, it could be, again, just like with Kirby. You got a young guy you're trying to build up that arm. He's not in his prime. He's working his way up to it. And you can make the argument maybe you've just he's a little gassed out. He's carried a large load through the part of this year and been basically an ace for us throughout that period. You're now into August. You're into that, 22nd, 23rd start of the season. I'm certainly not against them considering given if that guy can come back that they traded for and come back and start here in the next week or two and give some of these guys a little bit of rest with that. I'm not against it. Be a Flex and Gonzalez could be helpful. Spectre 7 says that's got to be game unless we can load them up. Well, it's certainly, look, we can't hit with runners in scoring position right now. And we might have the odd game here where we can put up 7 or 8 runs here or there. But yeah, to come back even on 4 runs in this game, you're looking at going, how are we going to pull this off? And look, you say that with the majority of you from a bat. You got 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th inning. But hitting has been a little off. Got a chance still, but it's a little off. Ethan says he's been steadily going down since May. Yeah. Definitely makes you wonder. Makes you wonder if it's the arm's a little tired or if legs are a little tired or just, 162 games. It's a long season. Spectre 7 says you make these trash stinker games a bit more bearable. Laughing out loud. That's what I'm here to do, man. They're going to be tough at times to watch. I'm going to try to spice it up where I can. Man, they got that. There's this woman they're showing paddleboarding right now at 6 o'clock on the Puget Sound. I would not be doing that. I would not be doing that. You couldn't pay me when you get to dusk to be out in those waters on a paddleboard. I don't mess with the ocean. I don't mess with it like that. I respect it. All right, Penn Murphy is in the game now. He's got 43 games this year with a 2.30 ERA. Opponent's hitting 169 against him. He's got 55 strikeouts in 47 innings and only 9 walks. He's a guy who will come in here and pump that strike zone. The Mariners also making a bit of a change out in the outfield. No more Wink patrol for this game. We're going to get a little Jake Lamb, the recent addition. Like that too. Winker's been pretty miserable for you at the plate today. Swing and a miss on the first pitch from Murphy. Stephen Cottrell says, I can't wait for this offense to be the reason why the M's don't break the drought. You can't wait for it? I hope it's not the case. One here to Jose Trevino. But at this rate, it might end up being that might be the case with it, you know. That's definitely a possibility. Ethan says Winker's atrocious in left field. Yeah, you, as I rail against often, you need outfield defense in this stadium. It's a necessity. And when you don't have it, you're going to notice it on very clearly. This ball's hit on the ground to JP. He's got the throw over to first base, and that will be the first out of the inning, though that does move the runner over to third base. Lots of people want us to sign Judge in the offseason, but what would make him want to come here? I bet the Dodgers or Padres get him. I don't think the Padres are going to have the money to do that for him, Spectre 7. They've got a lot of contracts they're going to have to dole out already to big stars, and he's going to want to make all the money. Dodgers make a lot of sense to me. Giants could make a lot of sense to me. Angels could make a lot of sense. I mean, I could see him as going to that California from those other standpoints, from those other teams. I could easily see that. I don't think the Mariners will be in on it, though. I mean, theoretically, you got the money, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a fit necessarily. Murphy's got a 1-0 count here. Isaiah Kiner Falefa up at the plate. 0 for 2 in this game. Swing and knocked out into right field. Haniger with his arm is out there. He's going to give it a ride. Runner running in, and he will be safe. Yankees go up 7-2. Great piece of hitting there. They've done it all game. Not trying to pull and yank everything, just going with the pitch. He did that there. Haniger gave a good throw of it, but it's just hit solidly enough out to right field, deep enough out to right field, where even a good, strong arm there was not going to get the runner. Great throw by Hanny. Yeah, great throw by Hanny. There just becomes a certain distance where if you put it just far enough and the runner's just fast enough, there ain't nothing you're going to be able to do with it as a right fielder. And that's an example there of when you throw it to the catcher, where if the catcher misses that on the bounce, that's an error on the catcher because it's coming right at him. It's a throw on him. That's the big difference from where we saw with the JP throw early on in this game. And the Yankees have definitely given it to our Mariners tonight. 7-2 against our ace. Aaron Hicks comes up to the plate with 2 outs, top of the 5th inning. Oh, 1 here to Hicks. Swing, knocked foul. 0-2. Boy, he hit that high in the air. Skied that one. All right, let's see if Penn Murphy can get us out of this inning, get us back to our offense, and see if our offense can start doing a little bit more work here. Low. Ball 1-1-2. 2-8-3 says Winker's hurt. Well, that sucks. 1-2. Aaron Hicks ready to go. Low. Ball 2. Ethan says, someone on Twitter said Jesse Winker runs to the ball like he does when he exits the bar at 2 a.m. That's hilariously true and sad. Yeah, I could see that. He's got kind of an uncertain gait to him, doesn't he? I've wondered if a lot of it's just the ankle injury, and look, he's coming out injured, and maybe that's bothering him a little bit. But I do think you've got to not have him playing left field, especially when you're playing at home. I think that's definitely costing you an outfield defense to have him. And if he was giving you career average numbers at the plate, then you could deal with that. But simply to trot him out to left field alone because he draws walks seems like not enough, even with the way this lineup's hitting. Aaron, 3-2 pitch inside, ball 4. Good eye by Hicks. Tough on the Mariner pitchers in this game. I don't know why they're so scared of going after Aaron Hicks. Hitting .225 on the year, but Logan was the same way. Just not going after him. Being tentative against him. You got 2 outs. Nobody on base here. You're down 7-2. What are we doing? Go after this guy. Come on. Danny W says, top three things in order you'll be watching during Saturday's Seahawks game. Great question. The quarterback battle is something I'm going to be locked into first and foremost, Daniel. Who's outplaying who? The cornerbacks, I'm going to be locking into who's holding it down in that game, especially the young guys. And then I think I'm going to be concentrating on how they're running the ball. In the scrimmage, there's a lot of reports of them utilizing outside zone run a lot more fluidly, like I've been calling for years. And if they start to do that, that's going to make our running game so much more dynamic. And I think they set the table to do so this year and how they put together the offensive line with the 2 young guys coming in who are very athletic and can move in space. And, of course, Austin Blythe as well. So you would think with them bringing that personnel versus what you had before, you can run some more of that. And if they do look out, teams are going to have a very hard time defending our run game. 1-0 pitch here now, 1-1 to DJ LeMahieu as the lineup turns over here for the New York Yankees. They're up 7-2 in this game. We got a runner on first and 2 men out. Sector 7 says we still have a good chance to take the series with Diego and Robbie coming up, but today sucks. Yeah, we need Robbie to come through here in his next part of the rotation, especially as he's had some similar up and downs as of recent, and we need some ups here. And you're right. We got a good couple of guys going on the hill over the next couple of days. Yankees are trotting back out Garrett Cole. He's hard to get to, so it ain't going to be easy. But we still got a chance to come back in this series. We're down. For Angels, first game of that series, we're down. I think the Yankees last series, we were down the first game too. So we've been here before. Steven Cottrell says Murphy. He says frustrating here. He's got him into 1-2 here, but that walk was silly. It's bottom of the lineup. You don't want to turn back over to. We're out of this game. I get it, but make him earn it now at this point as a reliever coming in. It's the same thing you would do as if you had the lead 7-2. It's the same methodology and mentality you want to apply, which is let's go after the hitters. Let's not mess around about. And he knocks this one on the ground. That's going to be foul. Jeez. That ball just barely foul. 283 says you got to wonder how much gas the bullpen has left. One less arm since we have 6 starters, and they haven't been going deep into games recently. No, they haven't. It's a worry for me, too, because you've done a good job through the front half of the schedule of not taxing them too much, but you've been calling on them, it seems like, game after game. None of our guys are getting into they're struggling to get into the 5th inning. And, yeah, you do worry about that starting to strain that a little bit too hard. You're going up against 2 of the better lineups with Astros and Yankees as of recent, so You're expecting a little bit of that too within that, but even in the Angels series, you were tapping into it. You weren't getting very far in, to your point. All right, DJ LeMayo's got a 1-2 count now here with Murphy. He spins the ball in his hand as he looks for the sign or looks to hear the sign. He gets set. Throws it over there to first. Keeps Hicks close. Danny W says, I agree on the above. I'll also be paying a close attention to our 2 tackles. Can't wait. Me neither, man. And I was thinking to mention tackles, but I'm really will be locked in on what I think quarterback will have me not as much locking in on what the tackles do, at least on first view of the game. And then even beyond that, I'm going to be looking a lot at the receivers too. So it's like I will be watching the tackles too, but not with the concentration you sometimes can when you're like, what are we seeing here rep after rep? 1-2 to DJ Lemieux. Ooh, gets him to check swing. They check with first. No, 2-2. Go Hawks 05 to Seattle Mariners. Seattle Mariners. We're going to go after the Mariners today. We're going to win. We're from New York. Stephen Cottrell, they just have to throw Brash out for the rest of the game. Whatever happens, just happens. I'm with it, man. I'm with it at this point. I don't think you're getting 5 runs back in this particular game myself. 283 says, I prefer Luis Torrens. Hey, let's go Torrens time. That'd make this fun. Knocked on the ground. JP's got the ball up with the throw. Makes a very tough throw look very easy. Ranging to his right with speed there. And we finally get out of a decade-long inning of the 5th there for your Mariners as they come away with a couple of runs to the Yankees, do the most damage in the game they've done so far, and they now come out to a 7-2 lead. Bum bum. Bum bum. All right, I'm going to get a little bit of water, folks, and I'll be right back here, so bear with me, please. All right, Mr. Sam Haggerty takes the plate here to lead off the bottom of the 5th inning. Haggerty in this game is 0 for 1, hitting .310 on the year. So if you can kick it out here, turn this lineup back over to the top and see if we can't do a little bit of damage this inning. Stephen Cottrell says Stephen Cottrell says, I really hope Dipoto is taking notes on how to build a real offense and doesn't screw around this offseason. I do as well, Stephen. I think you have a chance to look at the situation too from Dipoto's standpoint and say, I've got certain things that I feel pretty solidly about where they're at. Right? Like you go, okay, France first base, don't have to think about that. Cal Raleigh behind the center, I know you'd love to have him hitting, or a catcher, you'd love to have him hitting better than 200, but you feel like he will continue to develop. And Haggerty swings at a pitch way outside the zone. He was already 0-2. I know he's trying to protect there, but there have been a good many swings in this game that Talien's been able to get that have been out of the zone. Would have been ball there. You feel good about some of these spots on this team, and so you can probably laser lock into just certain positions to build upon, whereas I say you got to just remove the black holes from this lineup as much as you need to inject so much more hitters in. You just got to remove out the weak links, so to speak. Too many of them. We're always, every lineup, it seems like, game in and game out, have 3 guys, 4 guys that aren't even going to put up a battle in the game. They're going to be swinging the pitches out of the zone, strike out too much, not draw any walks, not be able to situationally hit, not be able to protect with 2 strikes. You got too much of that in this lineup, and you got to foster that out in these given little areas. But I think you can lock in on those spots. And Frazier, Talien's feeling good. He's up 7-2. He's got the lead. He's going to pump that zone. Already 1-2 here on Frazier. He had Haggerty 0-2 on the previous at bat. Very good job by Talien here just to go right after these pitchers now. Knocked foul on 1-2. But I agree with you, Steven. I think the place you're looking to concentrate wholly this offseason is how can we aid this lineup? And you've got a lot of guys. You've got a lot of bats. From your Dylan Moores to your Trammels to your Kellenics and Lewises. You do almost need to solder off so many of these bats, and that's a swing and a miss. Strike 3 on on Frazier. I wanted to rhyme there. Strike 3 on Frazier. Looked like a curveball there. Talien's back up and running here in the 5th. 2 strikeouts to start things off here. Ball 1 here for Ty. Big Country says maybe Haniger comes back for right field. Could be. And France hits this one up sky to right field, but Judge will be easily underneath this one for out number Trace. So Mariners put up a very weak effort here in the bottom of the 5th inning and quickly are retired. Back to the top of the Yankee lineup. Ethan Tech World says we have no problem getting on base. It's the situational hitting is blank. Yeah, I mean, that's where, to my point again, I think that's where you hit the black holes of the lineup. And it seems to be, those sometimes change game to game, but that's where you're landing at in that spot. And a lot of the times we're in these black holes, we have guys who seem to think that they're a bit better than they are, or just aren't concerned at least with the fact that they're striking out at a high rate, not drawing any walks, not having a 2-strike approach. I know some of this is part and parcel with the modern approach of major leaguers, and this is still really, honestly, the fallout from the steroid era that still continues even to now. It's one of those things, like when we talk about things coming up that hurt this sport, it's the understanding of how it'll hurt a sport not only in the moment of the sport, but continue to echo then beyond. Because those kids grew up watching those guys that were roided out of their minds swinging for the fences, and now it became this modern thought and embraced by all hitters of, even in 2-strike counts, I'm going to swing exactly the same way that I swing on no count, on 1-1, 2-1. I'm going to swing the very same way. And I was brought up, if you get yourself into 2-strike hits, and this was at the major league level too. This wasn't just little league stuff or high school stuff. This was how major league hitters used to do it as well, is that you would change your approach in 2 strikes. And it was a little bit more about trying to get the ball into play and fouling off tough pitches as well. Just things I don't see consistently through this lineup, hitter after hitter after hitter. And too many guys with an approach where they just seem to be flailing a little bit without a given plan. As Steven said above, it may end up being the thing that this year holds us back, but it's where I think the concentration from DePoto's standpoint has to be where we're going forward. Steven says, your Moores, Kellenics, Trammels, Lewises are how you build a championship AAA team. We need some real major league batters. Yeah, and I mean, with Lewis, Lewis is a former Rookie of the Year who then had knee injuries, which you would hope he would maybe be able to come back from. And then I think the concussion thing just sort of deep sunk him this year as he was just starting to really come back. Aaron Judge up the plate now. Murphy's still on the hill for the Mariners. And Kelenic was the best farm player in the whole Mets system that you got the Diaz trade, and he just is totally washed out for you basically as a prospect, which has, I think, surprised a lot of people, not just in Seattle, but nationally as well. I'm sure if you'd asked the Mets when they made that trade of Kelenic at the time, they would not have foresaw him being where he is in his struggles. 0-1 here to Judge. But I get your point. Your point still stands, Steven. They are what they are. It's maybe a point in time here where strike. Nice slider there by Murphy. Swung that one right across the plate. These guys may eventually hit, but I think you've got to go a little bit less as you go in from more now in that ascending state as a young team to more now, okay, we want to be in a full-on competing state. There's got to be a little bit less of the lineup of guys that were just waiting for them to work their way around here. Just waiting for them to get on through to the other side of things here. They'll come anytime now. Anytime. Beautiful slider there on the outside plate. Wonderful pitch by Murphy, 0-2. I like him going right after Judge there. He swung the second pitch slider far across the plate, left it 5-6 inches out of the plate, got Judge to swing at it. Judge is thinking there, okay, I've got to be a little more patient here. I can't swing at that pitch. Throws another slider kind of in a similar sort of rotation, but puts this one on the outside portion. Great pitch by Murphy. Great pitch. 283 says Santana Torrens don't help either. No, they don't. I mean, look, Tom Murphy, if he's healthy this year, you can, maybe you're looking to bring him back next year if he can get things back around. A great play by Suarez there. Able to pick that ball on the ground, and 2 quick outs here. LeCastro was flying down the line. Suarez backed really up far there on that play from third base, but gets off a good throw. He's got a good arm over there. Yeah, Murphy wasn't screwing around with Judge. I like that. Don't get cute. You're down 7-2. It is what it is. Go after him. Maybe the way they'll be able to do this, Steven, is they'll be able to package it where you can centerpiece in a Lewis and a Kelenic with someone else within that and find your way to bring on that one hitter from the 3. Specifically, if I can find a left fielder, if I can find a left-handed hitting, essentially what Winker would be plus defense and what we thought we were getting with Winker, that would be an ideal thing to go out there and attack, I think. That's a straightforward way to me to find a way to upgrade. And then you got Haniger, if you can bring him out right field, Julio in center. I feel a little bit better about things at that point. 0-1 here, and that's going to be knocked up high in right field, and this should retire the side. Haniger's under it. All right, so a quick inning, one of those rare ones we've had in this game from the Yankees. We are down 7-2 still. Let's see if our Mariner Live can do it. Haniger is 2 for 2 in this game. Will lead things off at the top of the inning. Sector 7 is we need to save our bullpen. We should think about putting Torrens in. I don't think they're at that point. They're probably going to put Torrens in quite yet. You do have still 6. You got 4 innings left. You're down by 5 runs, which is significant, but I imagine Service is still going to go with a little bit more of the, I like the Matt Brash idea of putting him in, just letting him roll through the rest of the game, no matter come hell or high water. 283 says, yeah, if you don't put any runs up in the 6th, throw Lewis or Torrens out there. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm not against it. I don't think you're coming back in this game with where our lineup is right now and how they're hitting. So it's not the worst thing, especially based on what happens in this bottom of the 6th. Steve Carell says, you mean like an Ian Happ? Something like that. Something like that. Yeah. And 275, 9 home runs, 44 walks on the season. 275, 356 on base percentage, 119 OPS. Yeah, that would be along the way of what I'm talking about. He can play second base, third base. I mean, that also gives you, I mean, that's a great suggestion, frankly, Steven, because that also then gives you, of course, gives you a counter for Eugenio Suarez. If you're dealing with a tough right-handed pitcher or you want to give him a rest, now you can go to Ian as a left-hander there at third base as well. And then you could put Haggerty out in left on those kind of games if you wanted to. But that would be, that'd be right down the middle of what I would kind of be looking for. I'd be a little worried with him just because you look at his recent where he's been. He's been okay, 264, 258, 226, 275 this year. So he's having a tiny bit of an outlier year this year, a little bit. But he's had some big OPS seasons beyond what he's doing this year too. So power is just not as much there this year. But I'm not as worried about the power. I want a legitimate batting average, not 300. Just give me a guy 275. Give me a guy with some speed and give me some guys with defense and he can get on base. I can work with that. Haniger hits this ball up into right field and Judge is under this one. Runners are not putting up much of a fight in this particular game here outside of a couple moments. Switch hitter, yep, Steven, that is. That's helpful. Big Country says, laughing out loud, before the season they had Winker as a top 3 left fielder. I don't see how you see Winker as a top 3 left fielder in this sport. I mean, he had kind of a career year last year with the Reds, right? So, if you base it off of the 1 year he had there with the Reds, and again, he's in a bandbox park there in Cincinnati where it's made for hitters. I mean, the prior year, Winker hit 2. So he was at 305 last year, but then he was 255, 269, 299 before that. 12 home runs. And he had 24 home runs last year, but he's more in line this year with his career norms. He had 1 year 7 home runs, another year 7 home runs, 16 home runs, 12 home runs. Hard for me to see putting Winker in as a top 3 left fielder, especially when he's such a black hole again, but I'm overusing that. And Jake Lamb hits this one up into center field for out number 2. But if you don't have outfield defense and you only have marginal power, and I don't know, I mean, maybe left field has just fallen that far in Major League Baseball where there's just not a tough mark to hit. Spectre 7 says, looks like Carpenter broke his foot. That foul off of his foot. Ooh. Jeez. Well, that would be very harmful for this Yankee team. Already dealing with their share of injuries this year. That is certainly going to make it tough on them. No doubt about it. They got some reinforcements coming, though, don't they? Giancarlo's coming back, and so as they've shown here in this game, and as we've seen with the Astros, these top teams in the AL are top teams for a reason. Strike one here to Eugenio, 1-1. Yu Kwang Huang says, whenever we are down over 5 runs, the game is like over, and it's mainly because of our batters don't hit for power. Well, I mean, we got some power in the lineup. To me, it's a little bit of the inability to hit with runners on base, because you'll get guys on base. But there's also a little bit of the just impatience at the plate. Try to get the swings in there. And Eugenio has been patient in this at bat, but he is into a 1-2 count. Italian's just very comfy in this game. Strikes him out on a slider. That will finish things up here in the 6th. So Italian has had his way with the Mariner lineup here in this game. Once he got that lead comfortable and he could get out of that trouble as he did, he is locked in, and he got an even tougher as the game has gone along, quite frankly. Da. 23 might go 7 at this point. Yeah, Italian's not in a bad spot as far as his pitch count. He's only 93 pitches, so he can go another inning. $283-128 says, I think we need a solid DH. Tired of Santana, Lewis. That would be another helpful thing, wouldn't it? I think you've had one of the worst. You've got to be one of the worst DH hitters, like whoever's been in your lineup at the DH throughout the year. You've probably been one of the worst in baseball this season. It's a pretty straightforward, easy place to usually upgrade a lineup, too, because you're not needing the guy to field. You just need to go find a bat. I don't know what it is, if it's just the stadium, but there's just hitters that come into this ballpark that just can't seem to. It's almost like they fall apart coming in. It's like what's happened with Winker. I've seen so many hitters who are just everywhere else they hit fine, and then they come in here and it's like the ballpark just freaks them out or something. And there's some guys come in here and hit like dynamite. Like the ballpark's really nice for them. They feel, but there's so many guys who've come in and just don't ever feel quite comfortable hitting in this park. And a guy like Winker Park should fit him very well with his left-handed stroke, pull stroke. Mariner bullpen in August has been nails, 20 innings, 1.74 ERA. They've been asked to do quite a lot. And Penn Murphy will be relieved here. Murphy went 2 innings, no runs. Rick Swanson will come in the game now. Gilbert seeing his ERA now raised up to 3.47 on the year. 283 says that doesn't look like Torrens. Not quite. Server still thinks he's got a chance in this game, I guess, with his 2 hits. 2 hits for your Mariners today. They got to do better than that. Come on, guys. 2 hits. We're in late August. This is when the bat is starting to usually start to heat up. Big Country says, only Mitch too. Yeah, Mitch has got the only 2 hits. Everybody else has been blanked in this lineup. Knocked foul straight back by Gleyber Torres. Torres 2 for 3 with a double, a single, and 2 runs in this ball game. Yankees 7 runs on 10 hits. The Mariners 2 runs on 2 hits and an error. DH in left field is the place you can upgrade this lineup. That's to me where in this offseason, Steven, you talk about that's the spot to do it. And you just laser lock there. You get the best possible players. If you can get a true impact bat, that's all the better. And certainly make a big swing to do so. One, 2 here to Gleyber. Gleyber Torres. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Good pitch there by Swanson. Swung him right over the top. A lot of movement on that pitch. Very well done. Bullpen continues to be a strength of this team. Maybe the most consistent aspect of this team outside of maybe the defense. Andrew Benintendi up to the plate now. Benintendi having a good day himself here, 2 for 3. Yankees got up for this game. They were getting called out a little bit nationally leading up to this one. Not surprised to see them kind of juice this one up a bit. Especially after we gave it to them in the last series. We'll see if our Mariners can answer the bell back tomorrow on this one. 1-1. Spectre 7 says, we need at least 1 or 2 more off seasons to compete for World Series. I just hope our owner will open up his checkbook a little bit. Me too. You're not going to get it done if you don't. Eventually, that is what has to happen. And this will be popped over to Eugenio. He's underneath it for out number 2. But yeah, you're going to need to, Spectre, you're going to need to spend some money here at some point. And I do hope they eventually do open those pocketbook, understanding that you've put your fan base through 2 decades of bad baseball. And the fan base has supported you. We're here on a Monday night right now. I'm looking at it. The stadium is filled. Reward your fan base for their dedication to you. And I can understand not opening the pocketbook up. I'm still up. Support the fact that you didn't make a signing of Chris Bryant or Trevor Story to start this year. I think those were smart moves. Don't go for bad parts here. And they didn't. But there will be good parts available. There'll be good players available. Let's go after that. It's interesting to see with Luis Castillo and Julio Rodriguez. Every time they go over to the dugout with those two, they're just always talking with each other. 2-0 here to Jose Trevino. Nice fastball on the outside black of the plate. Strike. 283 says, I wouldn't mind letting Winker DH. I think Winker should only be DHing, quite frankly. Just shouldn't be playing out in the field. Swing and knocked back. 2-2. Swanson doing a good job. Like Murphy, work the zone, go after these guys. Down 7-2. Don't get too careful here. Big Country says hopefully 1. 2 is more realistic for sure. You never know, man. It kind of just all depends upon the aggressiveness of the front office. And if they really see this team being close like that. And I'll tell you, you have Luis Castillo for 1 more year of club control next year. After next year, you're going to have to sign probably Logan Gilbert to a contract extension at that point or start thinking about it. You could make a little bit of an argument that the time to kind of strike is going to be through this offseason, especially in my opinion because of the fact you're not having to address so many positions. We can lock in on just certain set things. We know the bullpen's money. We know the starting rotation's money. Center field, good. Haniger and Wright, locked up. France, first base, good. Shortstop with Crawford, good enough. Frazier, you probably ride with at second base, but certainly we could add second, left field, and DH is the 3 positions you can kind of really lock in. If you really want to lock into, maybe there's not a left fielder, maybe there's not DH, but there is a second baseman who is a prominent guy who jumps to the fray. But I think you can kind of stay into that lane of things, and if you hit it hard enough, you've rounded the team off at that point. You've put them in that position that you talk about of being a World Series contender, especially if those young arms can continue to develop, as I would expect that they will. Kirby, Gilbert, Hancock, Robbie Ray, Castillo. Swing and a miss, and Swanson pumps. He doesn't know that's down 7-2. As far as he's concerned, it's a tie game. And he gets a strikeout there, a nice inning of work by Swanson to go on top of the 2 innings of good work by Murphy. And they keep this game within sight. I won't go within reach, but we'll go within sight. Yaquang Huang says J-Rod is the Mariners' Russell Wilson. He is. I think even beyond that, Yaquang, I think he's the new face of the franchise, or the new face of the city in a lot of ways as an athlete. He will be the guy. He will be the guy in that respect. But I think the world of him. I think he's eventually going to be an MVP player in this league when it's all said and done. What a year he's had. Victor 7 says, except Julio's far more likable than Russ. Yeah, I echo that. Boy, there's been some fiery talk on the Hawks Nest channel side of things lately when it comes to Russell and the subject of that. He just, boy, does he draw out the vibrant emotion in the fan base one way or another. 203 says, Bolt fam, let's ride. There we go. There we go. Spectre 7 says, even the guys over at Seahawks or podcast talk crap about Russ constantly. Well, and I wasn't this way myself, but I think that and I'm not going to say this about the Seahawks podcasters. It may not be where they're operating from, but I do get the distinct impression on some folks with this where they had thoughts about this like this with Russ for a long period of time. And I can speak to the fact as a commentator on this stuff as I do that you get people that were bristling if you brought up anything negative as far as Russell goes. And I'm not trying to throw shade at our fan base. I love all of our fan base, even the people that think like this. But there is a segment out there that really felt like Russell basically walks on water and can do no wrong. And those people, when they hear any kind of criticism of Russ, the knives come out. And Carlos Santana comes up to the plate now, takes the first pitch high. And they get very emotional very quick about it. And I think at least now with him being moved and understanding the reasons on him being moved and him pushing his way out of town, it's kind of at least now opened up more of a door for people to be honest with where he was at and kind of the whole package you get with Wilson. And that's still saying, again, with the respect for him and all that, but there's some stuff with him that definitely was not the funnest to have to ride through over the last couple of years. 1-1. Nice curveball there on the outside corner there by Italian, who does come out here for the 7th. 96 pitches for him. He's done a very good job of that curveball today of being able to drop that in for a strike whenever he's needed it. The delivery outside, 2-2. 283 says, did I see Sherman was at the mock game? I did. As somebody else noted, interesting to see the second Russell goes that you have Sherman back there instantaneous, which is going to do nothing to quiet some of the... Santana hits this on the ground foul. It's going to do nothing to quiet some of what people thought about Sherman not liking Russell and that there was a bit of the rift there between them. And we heard all about the old cliques that used to exist in the locker room, especially after we got outside of those 2 Super Bowls, especially after the interception. And I think that that does no less to sort of spurn that thought process more forward, 283, as far as people thinking that certainly is true. But it's good to see him out there. I would love it if Sherm, KJ Wright, as we've seen with Cam Chancellor and Cliff Averill, can start to serve as some of the mentor roles for some of these young players. Santana yanks that 2-2 pitch. Carlos is just not a guy who wants to really go with it. He really wants to pull everything. Aroldis Chapman getting ready in the Yankees pen. Big Country says, I used to think he could do no wrong up until a few years ago. Santana hits this one high up in the air to right field. Gets way underneath that pitch. 4 out, number 1. Italian hits 100 pitches on the game now. Holy goodness. Yeah, Big Country, and I was a lot higher and brighter on Russell than what he's done for the last couple of years. And I think it wasn't just necessarily paying more attention to some of the faults. It was just some of the stuff that he was doing was making it harder to deal with him. And really the accountability thing almost looms as much as anything above any of the social media stuff and the cringe stuff. Crawford takes a first pitch strike here at the knees. 0-1. It's really the accountability. It's the lack of ability to understand where there are holes in his game and to fix them. And you could see in how he talked about it post-game and whenever he was questioned about it. This ball hit up into the air. Boy, the Mariners just are not able to do anything here against Italian tonight. And not even any hard swings, hard hit balls really outside of Haniger. As I said, we got 2 hits in this game, both from Mitch. Rough game from the Mariner lineup today. I don't know if it's just a mid-August game. You're just a little tired after a long series or whatever it is with the Angels. But Yankees are the one traveling all the way from New York to here. You'd think it was the Mariners who had traveled kind of by the energy level we're seeing out here a little bit. I know it's 7-2 now, deep in the game. They're probably like, all right. But, that's really what strikes it with me, Big Country, at the end of the day on Russ on that. And Cal Raleigh, first pitch swing, strike one. 283 says, him in the front office lied to the fan base for basically 2 years. Yep. I can understand why they did it, because they were trying to keep, from the front office's standpoint, they didn't want to give up $38 million. 1-1 pitch here to Cal. Swung on, hit high and deep up into the air. This ball's going to carry far back into the crowd. Not far back, but just getting up over the fence in right field. That will be a home run. It's big dumper time. Raleigh hits his 16th shot of the year up to one of the deeper portions of that big outfield at T-Mobile Park. Got a pitch high. Boy, his last at bat, he just missed one inside the foul pole, which would have changed the significance of this game considerably. Didn't miss this one here, top of the zone, and he ham-boned it. Ham-boned that. And the Mariners crawled back up in 7-3, down only now 4 runs. The big dumper comes through. Comes through. And the Mariners get their first hit of the game outside of Mitch Haniger. So 2 men down, 1-0 count here now. Haggerty up at the plate as the Mariner lineup will turn over here. Swing and a miss. And boy, Haggerty usually does okay up at the plate. A lot more solid swings and just having better approach. He's had some really kind of weird swings in this game. Just has not, like a lot of batters in this Mariner lineup, not looked quite comfortable against Talion today. Ground out and a strikeout in this game. Talion up to 107 pitches. And Haggerty knocks this one up into the air. Left fielder is underneath it, and that will be out number 3. So the Mariners do put up a run on the board. But that will be all. Sector 7 says it hurts. So I think the front office, 283, they had to lie because they weren't wanting to trade Russ last year to the Bears for what was going to be not appropriate. You got much better haul from the Broncos than you were going to get from the Bears. And that factored into it. And you were going to have to eat $38 million last year, which $26 million is still a lot to eat this year. But $30 million is like, especially last year when you only had a $182 million salary cap, that was not going to be able to be something that they were going to be able to pull off unless they just wanted to completely lose out and tank last year, which I just don't think Schneider and Carroll have that in their blood to do that. So they had to kind of keep up that lie for that reason. But Russ, where my problem big comes in to him as well with this is that, you knew far sooner than just in the last 2 years that you were maybe wanting to look to move out of here. As we've heard from Colin Cowherd, who has served as the Russell Wilson mouthpiece for now 3.5 years. And Cowherd was speaking about how maybe he doesn't want to be here anymore soon. And so, he could have around the last contract negotiation have told Seattle at that time that he was starting to go in this direction, that he was starting to feel this way, and maybe he didn't want to be there, and then they could have made that trade at that point if it was really where his mind was going. But he didn't. He waited, and then he decided to pull that cord at the worst possible moment for the franchise as far as being able to do not only get the trade dealt out to get appropriate value, but then to sustain the dead money hit that they were going to have to sustain. Sector 7 says it hurts knowing we may get blanked or no hit without Mitch tonight. Well, at least you got Raleigh, I guess. But yeah, the lineup's been pretty tough to watch. Yuquan Hoang says, to be honest, do you see the Mariners actually making the playoffs this year? Because keep in mind that the White Sox and the Guardians will have an easier schedule than the Mariners, unfortunately. Yes, I still do think that they're going to end up getting to the playoffs, Yuquan. I think that you're going to get Julio back into this lineup sooner than later, and I think he does change the nature of this lineup. I think Castillo's addition is going to be enough to kind of bump them up a little bit as well, and with the rotation that needed that help, that extra arm. And so, yes, I do think that you are going to still make the playoffs this year. I think it might be close. I don't think we're going to run away with it like I was hoping we could if we could get into August. But Huang, the real games to pay attention to for me as much as anything is look at those September games for us. And that's a key spot there where the schedule not only gets easier for you outside of a couple series, but you're talking about other teams with their September call-ups and whatnot at that point. And maybe an ability to really feast at that time on lesser competition, and not just teams lesser from a win-loss record, but they're also fielding maybe more prospects in those games, trying to give guys a cup of coffee at the major league level to set up for the next year. Matt Brash comes out and quickly gets an 0-2 count here. 283 says, I called it on the home run for Cal. You did. He almost had 2 in this game here. Yeah, Yaquan, he could have done that 3 innings ago. That's for sure. Top of the 8th here. Swing! And a miss on 3 pitches. Nasty slider by Brash. When he's got that thing moving, it is moving. It is moving with rotation and force across the plate, that slider is. Snapping slider. It's like a snapping turtle snapping slider. And he foul tipped that, but Raleigh did a good job to hold that. My nickname for Raleigh is 50 caliber. It's probably a better nickname than the Big Dumper. Though I think the Big Dumper might end up sticking. All right, 1 out now. Brash pumps a 99-mile-an-hour fastball at the knees to Aaron Hicks. Hicks has caused some Mariners some strange consternation here, not just in this game, but even the last series, and being careful with him. 2 walks in this game. Swing! That fastball was up around his chest, and Hicks swung right through it. Ethan Techworld says, next time on the Mariners offense, bases loaded, but this time, yeah, you know what's up. I like it, Ethan. Let's do it. Let's come back and win this thing. Let's come back and win this. Let's just mess around and win this whole thing. 0-2 delivery, fouled back by Hicks. 100-mile-an-hour fastball there by Brash. Dialed that one up. 283-128, I agree. But they still were denying it in February, saying they have no plans to trade him, and Russ saying he wants to win in Seattle. Yeah, I agree with you there. But again, if you say it even in February, at any point in time you come out and start to say that a guy is going to be traded or that it has to be done, it's going to reduce a player's value on the market at that point. And especially in the case of Russ, where he has a no-trade clause so he can dictate where he's going. And so that even more exacerbates that issue of getting not back the returns you want if you let it be known that he indeed is going to be traded. I get where you're coming from. I don't like the fact that there was the cloak and dagger with this either. I get why they did it. It doesn't mean I like it. Again, I look at the situation and I go, this all should have been sorted out at the last contract negotiation as to where this goes. If Russell wanted to open the offense up for me, make me the centerpiece, give me a great offensive line and great skill position players and great tight ends, and then F your defense. If that's where he was, and that ball's hit high and deep, Haniger is underneath it though, and he gathers it up for out number 2. That, and the same thing from the front office. If they knew that there was inclinations that that's what Russ wanted to, and there's indications here that they did, right? There's the story of the front office calling Cleveland in 2018 when the contract negotiations were running into troubling times. There was reports coming out of the Hawks calling the Browns, offering Russell for the number 1 overall pick. So we know they were thinking about it. It's just that neither party had the stones to actually do it. First pitch, slider strike at the knees. Another nasty breaking pitch there by Brash. Looking good here out the gate. 283-128. That makes more sense. Yeah, I get where you're coming from though, and trust me. I mean, understand too. I was the guy trying to warn people about Russell leaving for like at the very least a year and a half, if not 2 full years, than when he actually left. And as you know, 283 in the chat, I mean, I got flamed right and left by people as far as being called crazy and out of my mind for thinking that was a possibility that could occur. And I kept trying to say, guys, I'm warning you of this because I don't want to see it happen. I want to avoid this. But I think that in our placid state of just saying, well, we know he'll be here forever because there's no way he could ever leave, we're going to suddenly wake up one day and he'll be gone. And it ended up happening. As I related, it was for me 283 like a slow motion car wreck where I could see it coming, but there was nothing that could be done to stop it. 1-2 pitch here from Brash. Hit out of play. Another nice moving slider to DJ LeMahieu, who's 2 for 4 with 2 singles and a run. Doing a good job of setting the tone at the top of the lineup for this New York Yankee team. Kwang Wang, do you think if we have enough money to maybe get Judge or any superstar batters this offseason for the Mariners? Boy, Judge is going to cost the biggest contract in Major League Baseball history. And he is a guy that to me could start to want to look to brighten his star a little bit, and being in New York has definitely helped him with that. Is he going to want to go from New York to Seattle? I just don't see it. I think we'll have the money to do it. I think Yaquan will definitely make the call. But then at the end of the day, I come back around to, you ain't outbidding New York. They'll come in and probably match whatever is the best offer out there. That's kind of where I really see this going, is him flirting with other teams, but he's really at the end of the day just trying to press the New York Yankees to push up their offer to the max. And if not us, then I see more of it going somewhere else, where him going to just a different team that makes that play for him. That's the way it feels to me. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but knocked on the ground here to JP. Tough play for him, as he's done that a couple times in this game, having to come on in to his right, then throw back across his body and still throw it with enough steam to get the runner at first. And does so on that play, getting LeMahieu, of course, who is fleet of foot as the leadoff batter for this New York Yankee team. And the Mariner bullpen continues to hold up well here in this ball game, doing a great job of keeping things clean. I think Kwang, though, I think they're more going to look for something else different than the big Judge stroke. I think they'll try, but they won't be able to really be competitive in on that one when it's all said and done. Spectre 7 says this whole Russ thing really puts some legitimacy to those rumors of the Legion of Boom having beef with them. I think to me it's completely legitimate, those rumors. 100% legitimate. I had a question of those in my time. I thought maybe they were just overstated. But, Spectre 7, the original video I did on my Hawks Nest channel, the very first one I did was a little bit about why this era was coming to the end as it was and why things were going where they were going. And it was really all about, at the end of the day, ego and who was going to get credit. And that wasn't just the Legion of Boom I'm talking about. I'm with Russ on this too. And I think that caused that stuff to bear out. I think the Legion of Boom might have had a right to have a beef with them as well. As I say, my big issue with Russ right now is accountability. And I have to wonder if that accountability deal, that didn't just happen overnight where he suddenly decided I can do no wrong. That happened over the course of his time here. And it's obviously, I think, been fostered to a degree based upon what you do here from the Legion of Boom, and the respect of them saying at times, hey, why are we being held to this golden standard, this platinum standard, and then your quarterback over here is not? Everybody on this team should be held to the same place. And frankly, I think it's where a big part of these problems with Russ has gained steam over the years, and why it's going to be hard for him to just twitch out of it, to just like, well, I'll stop doing that now. It's now become a habit of who he is and where he's gone as a player. And maybe he'll be able to ride that out with the confidence and everything being positive and glass always 3/4 full. But I tend to think it won't, because I think that he's got to fix some things in his game. Yaquan says, thank you for your video. I really appreciate everything you've done. It makes me feel better as both a diehard Mariners and Seahawks fan. Well, thank you, Yaquan. I really appreciate that. That's very kind of you to say. I love doing this, man, and I appreciate having the good back and forth on these channels, man, being able to talk with you guys in the chat and just talk baseball or Seahawks, and it's where I'm at my happiest, man, It's where I'm like a duck on water, so to speak. 23128 says Russ is probably going to get the Altuve treatment. There's going to need definitely a good share of booze in there with the share of cheers when he comes to the stadium. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Might be his last time in Seahawks Stadium, too, for his career, if you think about it. Because next time you play the Broncos, in 3 years, you're probably playing them on the road. So 6 years from now, Will he still be there? Frazier 1-0, knocked back, swings at a 97-mile-an-hour fastball outside the zone. Frazier's got a tough little matchup here against Aroldis Chapman, who can really pump in those fastballs from the left-handed side. Don't make it easy. Don't make it easy. Daniel W. says you should merge all channels, film review, Seahawks, Mariners, Birds of a Feather. I like it. I'd love to, Daniel. You know, the thing you see, and Nelson's dealt with this on his channel too as well. When he's done Mariner coverage on his channel, it's just not been there from a big part of the segment of the subscribers. And the thing you want to avoid is you just don't want to lose subs because you always want to be in a gaining point. You never want to be in a loss point. And if you're putting out content that people just have no at all interest in whatsoever, it does kind of prevent that a little bit. I thought about doing it with that, but then I just went, I get it, but I'd much rather keep them separate so that it's, I'm not having to deal with somebody coming in the chat. We'd have people coming in the chat constantly like we're doing now, and then they'd be like, why are you doing baseball? It's called the Hawk's Nest. I'd be getting that wash, rinse, repeat literally 1,000 times. I guarantee you. So, I mean, hell, I see it. We have a little discussion of Mariners Talk just in the Hawk's Nest live stream shows, and like people will start to get like, baseball, boring, baseball, boring. And I'm like, all right, guys, we'll stay off that track of things. So I know where you're coming from. I'd love to be able to just do them all together a little bit, but I'm trying to do this also, Daniel, with a little bit of a long-term plan on this as well. And the Hawk's Nest, I think, will always be basically just fully me. And that will be my gig, my deal. I think these other two channels being Seahawks Scouting and this Crow's Nest, I do have a little bit of an eye of maybe long-term expanding out with bringing other people into the channel with it. So there's also a little bit of that in how I'm thinking about this long-term and bringing some of this along with not just me as the only talking head on this. But it's a long-term view on that one. And but that's also kind of why I'm thinking of that from that view of things. Because the Hawk's Nest is my baby. I'm never going to let anybody on that. But these ones, I'll be a little bit more like, kind of thinking about if we have other people producing videos on the channel, so to speak. Have a kind of vision for the channel, have everybody kind of working together on it. I've been thinking about that on either being in Seahawks Scouting or this Crow's Nest. On the Seahawks Scouting, for instance, I think I could eventually very much open the door for somebody who wants to do a film review and put together the clips and do that type of stuff and then upload it to the channel and continue to make that a communal place then as much as it is just a spot where I'm putting those up. Yuquan Huang, what makes you become a Seattle fan? Yuquan, I was this ball batted on the ground by Ty France. He's had a tough day today at the plate, just not getting any real good swings on balls, really. Not looking comfortable out there, and that will be 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Aroldis Chapman with a big smile on his face. Feeling nice and comfy there out on the mound. So Yuquan, for me, I was born in Idaho, but raised in Seattle, in the Seattle area. So, the story that I always go to with Yuquan is that my mom would say she'd always put me down as a kid in front of a TV if she had to go do something and turn on cartoons or something kid related. And I would always be switching the channel to sports and baseball, football, whatever was on. And that I would just do that even from a very, very young age. So always have gravitated to sports, always local Seattle sports above all. Followed these teams growing up. I had heroes growing up like Largent and Griffey in the 80s, late 80s to early 90s, and definitely had a big effect on me as a child in that respect. So just always have been. Never was a choice for me. You could say, Yuquan, it's in my blood. Mitch Haniger up now. He's 2 for 3 here, 1-0 count. Hits that little soft ball, finds a hole there, and boy, Mitchie continues to look comfortable, look fresh out there with those legs, right? Hasn't been playing a ton of games and gets another little base hit. He's showing you on a couple of these swings today. It's what I like to talk about with this, where level swing. With Mitch, he's not trying to lift the ball. He's just trying to come right across that zone level. And when you do that, less of you doing a lot of what we see with the Mariners in this lineup of lifting balls, We are always getting up under everything because you've got this natural uppercut to your swing and what you're doing as opposed to the leveling out. Kyle Lewis is going to come up now and hit here. Kyle in 17 games this season is hitting 145 with 3 home runs and 5 RBIs. This gets the New York Yankees a little bit worried. Their pitching coach will come out there to the hill now and talk to Aroldis. Sector 7 says, geez, hitting it right into gloves. Yes, we are. Yaquan says, laughing out loud, baseball does get pretty boring when the Mariners don't make it to the playoffs for the last 20 years. Agreed. It's very rough on a franchise to ask that of the fan base and then still ask the fan base to be highly engaged in the team. You're testing any fan in any city's patience, even the most diehard of fans out there. Kronos 1009, the way you are defiantly doing the right thing for your channel's algorithm. That way you are defiantly. That's right. It's all about that algo, man. You got to master it. You got to move like water with it, right? Like Bruce Lee talks about, right? Form to the water, become like water, my friend. It's like that. Lewis up the plate now, 2 outs, runner on first, low with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball by Aroldis Chapman. Lewis had a tough day against the Angels here a couple days ago with 4 strikeouts in the game. I believe he does have a pinch hit home run this season, though. The wind, the delivery, outside, but the umpire gives him the strike on that call. That was a brutal strike. Come on, ump. We need a break right now, okay? You give us a break. It was close, but I think maybe only one little thread of that baseball actually got over the plate. Haniger gets his lead from first. 1-1 delivery. Ball. 2-1 now. We're all just being a little careful here with Kyle. Kyle 2-1. Roldos gives it Mitch a long look at first. Damn. 2 bad calls by this umpire on outside pitches. I mean, he's consistent. They're right next to each other, so I guess you could say at least he's being consistent in his crappiness. But nonetheless, that should be ball 4. We should have 2 runners on at this point. Yaquan, I'm starting to think the umps are getting paid here. WTH, man. Come on. And that one's low. Thank God. The Yankee catcher tries to go like he's walking off the field on that one. He's like, he's going to give us it 3 inches at the bottom of the zone, too. Get out of here, jerky. Come on. If the ump gave him 3 pitches on that at bat, I would have been like, no, not acceptable. I reject you. Umpire's done pretty good today in this game, but that 3-2 now. Payoff pitch. Knocked foul. Lewis hits the ball right back to the catcher. Says, you're going to be a jackass and try to walk off the field on an obvious ball to make the ump. Because you handed the ump a $20 bill before the pitch. No. I'm going to hit this in your face. Take that, sucker. We're all just starting to get a little bit of a sweat here. Three-two pitch here to Kyle. Thinks about what he's looking for. Got to think you're getting a fastball here, Kyle. And it's going to come fast, so you've got to tune up for that with this guy. Again, the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, and no, he did not. Threw him a sinker there. Great pitch there by Aroldis Chapman. Sinker on the inside bottom part of the strike zone. Brilliant pitch. Kyle Lewis has struck out in his last 5 at-bats. In Tech World, with Russ during a loss, it was always, we could figure them out there. Their defense was pretty tough. I could see how the accountability thing with Russ could be a big turnoff for the Legion of Boom. 100%. Because I saw him do it at almost a militant level, Ethan. I mean, you saw it especially last year when he got questioned at times, and he would really bristle. And he would, it's what you have to pay attention to him with this, and watch for this with Denver this year if there's struggles with him, because it's all housed in this positive Paul stuff, right? I operate in my neutral mind, always positive, never dwelling on the negative, because that doesn't bring me any benefit. But there's the double-sided sword to that, because there's positives that brings, but that can also remove you from accountability if you stick too hard in that box. And I think that's what the Legion of Boom saw with him, is that it went fully into that lane of, I have to stay in this set. This is where my mental coach tells me to be. So no negative, so no bad. Because frankly, that's where your ego would naturally then drive you. This is part of the reason I'm not a big believer in the whole The Secret and just, manifest your reality crap. I'm not a believer in it for this reason, is I think that it's all given this upside thing of it being nothing but a good thing to operate from a mental state, but that there is actually downsides to thinking like that all the time. And that it does not always open your mind out to all of the possible solutions to correct problems. It doesn't. It's not this one-size-fits-all corrector thing like I feel like Russell views it as. And I would have been equally mad if I was the Legion of Boom, especially if I'm being held to a much higher standard. Daniel W. says Seahawks scouting is going to have an uptick in subs if you do quarterback analysis there of the college quarterbacks, but then it might not get as many views if it's on the lesser known channel. It's done okay over there. Like Seahawks scouting has gotten its share of videos that, for as few videos as I put on that side of the channel, and we got a little over 570 subs or something, so it's pretty small in that, Daniel. I mean, we've had some videos gotten up to 16,000 views, and the Falele videos at 13,000 views, and I think the Lucas one's gotten up there. So the views will get up there with it. They will. And with it being the college quarterbacks, to your point, that's going to help on driving that. So I do think that that'll help get some more upticks in over there. And eventually, Daniel, the way we'll do this too, of course, is that also within this long-term approach and plan has been, how can I get this stuff to a full-time kind of state, to be able to do this full-time? And to me, the way that I can do this is if I have a mix of content, if I have different channels, then it's less of me just repeating stuff, right? So if I do a live stream show on Seahawks scouting, it can be around college prospects or ways the Seahawks should attack the upcoming draft or any given number of topics regarding simply really the prospect look and view of college collegiate players. And the Seahawks, obviously the Hawks Nest can be more of what's going on right now in the news. What's happening right now? Is there a game going on? Is there a trade that's happened? Swing and a miss by Judge. First pitch swinging. Kind of surprised they got Brash out of there pretty quick after he had a really nice inning. Would have liked to have seen him gone righty-righty here with Judge. But, okay. So, I'm looking at it kind of like that too. Then I can have a day where maybe I'll be able to do a live stream for an hour or two over on Seahawks Scouting, and then go to Hawks Nest, and then maybe do a Mariner one and mix them in together. But then I can, rather than I'm just pounding one channel and really overwhelming, I can really then kind of mix those in a bit. That's also kind of within that, the way I'm viewing it. I'll be where long term it goes, but of course that's going to be a bit down the road. 283 says, when the Sonics return, what are you going to name that channel if you plan on making one? I would plan on making one, number one. Number two, well, maybe you guys can help me with that one, right? It's going to be probably hard to find the hoop nest. Where are we going to, the rim nest? Backboard nest. It's going to be hard to find a nest offshoot, I guess, on that one, like I've been able to do with the baseball one. But if we get the Sonics back, I'm baseball, basketball, football are all in my wheelhouse. If you guys saw me, I've actually got some handles. I play basketball very often, so that's one of my ways to really try to stay in shape. And I got some handles here. 2-2 pitch here for Baruki. Swing, hit high and deep. Did Judge give it another ride? He did. That ball is gone. Very odd of the team here. I don't know if they're just trying to save Brash a little bit here, but only working Brash the one inning rather than going back with him, because when you brought Baroki in, you're, of course, now going lefty-righty on that matchup with Judge. But I think Service has kind of already put this game in the tank regardless of what happened. Still a bit of an odd choice there. I would have gone... In fact, I think you have 2 righties in this inning to lead things off. I'm not really... You're down by 4 runs. I'm not a big fan of that in retrospect by Service. Again, you can... Maybe you're just punting this game, but... You could have gone all righty, righty, righty this inning. Instead, you went lefty, righty on the matchup. Kind of odd by the manager there. Big Country says, once again, the ump wants to go home. Yeah, he wasn't great on that one. That ball's lined out by LeCastro to Eugenio Suarez. Out number 1. Corda says, Russ has always been a robot at the press conference, which always came off as insincere. Now I wonder if it wasn't an act and he really believed it's never his fault. That's a little bit of what I'm thinking as well, Kronos. I think you touch on where my mind is with it on it. It's part of what's, it soured me on Russ. And it makes the Russ lovers, the Russ golden calf worshipers, absolutely lose their mind. But I'm sorry, it annoys me. I can handle bad quarterback play. I can handle not playing at your best. But when you demand the money that he demanded, and when you at times weren't living up to what we're paying you here, and you're not owning your mistakes, because when you don't own your mistakes, you don't correct them. That's my big issue with it. It's not about me just wanting to see people eat their crow and be like, yeah, I did bad. It's, look, then you can go, okay, now how do I fix it? As opposed to just thinking, well, the defense, like somebody else mentioned above, the defense played us tough today. It was a happenstance thing. This random bolt of lightning came down from the sky today, and that bolt of lightning won't be there tomorrow. I don't like it. Ethan Tech World says, geez, Kyle cannot hit. It's so disappointing. It was a good pitch. It was a great pitch. It was. But, Kyle has not looked like the hitter he was before he got concussed. To me, he was starting to slide back into that Rookie of the Year player that we had saw before the knee injuries, before that concussion. This ball's hit on the ground, down the line. Again, Service in his selection here to go with Baroki. You've got an inning with the righties of Judge, LeCastro, and Donaldson, who has destroyed you in this game. Who's absolutely just destroyed you. You got Matt Brash, who's looking really good through that 1 inning of work, through barely any pitchings. Now you go back to the lefty in this one in the 9th when you're down 4 runs, and this thing now gets fully out of hand. I'm not thinking we're going to score 4 runs in the bottom of the inning, but again, I just don't want to lament this too much. Kind of a weird decision there. Yuquan says the Orioles really have a tough schedule. Somebody was saying it was easy. I was like, is this easy? Or no, they were talking about the Central. You never know. The Orioles and the Blue Jays are there right now, but to your point that Yuquan, with them all playing each other, and Boston still plucky like they are in New York around there. There could be, with all of them playing each other down the stretch, a little bit of everyone kind of gets brought back down sort of to earth a little bit. Glabratore is up with an 0-1 count now. Another right-handed batter to go against our lefty here. That's great. 23 says, I'm an angry camper. Big Country says, yep, new Judge was going to crush it. Chronos 109 says, don't want to be boring, but the Sonic Nest might not be bad. It's not bad. I like it references the Sonics within the title on it, That does help as well with it. That helps. Probably should just get one created just to have one do a video or two. Just talking some old Sonic stuff. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Glabratore is out. That will be 2 down now. Yuquan says, how do you feel about Jerry Dipoto? I'm very happy with Jerry Dipoto. And I was a guy that was very much not big on the last couple of general managers that we've had roll through here. I've really been dismayed by the approach. I felt like at times previous general managers have been lazy. They've looked for the shortcut signing to overcome their deficiencies. They've made stupid trades that were stupid in the moment you made them. Weren't stupid after all the results bore out, but were stupid right on the day you made those trades. And I don't have that same feeling with Dipoto. I think that he walked into the door with an empty cupboard. And it doesn't matter what sport you walk into. It doesn't matter whether it's a coach or a general manager. If that guy's walking in with an empty cupboard, you give him a little bit of time to restock it, a little more time than you'd give him to restock it than if there were something that he had to work with. And that does to me provide a little bit more of a room for me to look at the situation and say, let me give him some more time to let him flex this out. I think people were giving him a hard time, Yuhang, at the start of the year in regards to going out and making that signing for Chris Bryant or Trevor Story. And he didn't let himself get pressured into doing that just because he had theoretically the money to spend. Instead, he said, no, these aren't the right signings to make. These aren't the right deals to do. And then we forget that Eugenio Suarez and Winker trade was, even though it's worked out with some mixed results to a degree. Eugenio's been fine, but Winker's definitely been underwhelming. But it was still an amazing trade by the way baseball looked at that. They thought that the Mariners had absolutely ripped the Reds off in that deal. And you look at the Luis Castillo deal at the trade deadline and at the other moves that were made and the players that were available to be able to go out and get, what the Padres had to give up for Soto, which is by far way more in assets than I would want to give up. And Brokey seems to have some kind of issue going on right now. So we now lose another pitcher in this game to injury. One more reason why just stick with Brash, man. Guy can't go 2 innings. I don't know what happened with Brokey there, but something after that pitch in his wrist didn't feel right. So the lefty will be out. Yeah, they're getting taxed. I mean, we were saying it earlier, just let Brash roll the rest of this game. And in a game where, in a game where you were out of this very early on, you've gone Murphy, Swanson, Brash, Brokey, and now we're to Festa. Service has got to, this is where a manager can help his team out here. Why didn't you stay with Brash? You haven't overworked him in the last couple of days. What's the worry here from you? He's strange. Yaquan Judge is really annoying. He is. Ethan says Aaron Judge can have a home run at this point. For all I care, I have him on my fantasy team, out of reach, so whatever. Kronos, the one time Dipoto doesn't go trade happy is the year he should have done more. I mean, maybe. Again, what was the player and what was the deal that he should have gone out and made? Who was it that he should have added? And you could maybe make the argument that was there, but boy, you would have gone a lot more all in on this year, a year where you thought was going to be more of a year of growth to getting to that truly competitive state. And again, understanding that in recent history, there's times where those general managers who have gone wrong in the past have gone wrong because they have made that move too early, because you weren't ready yet to kind of get to that spot of things. And it's where I do like the patience of Dipoto with it. And I mean, look, the totality of trades he's made this year with simply the addition of Winker, Eugenio Suarez, and the Castillo trades, those are all big swing moves for the most part in what you've added to the ball club. It just hasn't quite worked out, but it doesn't mean to me that the approach wasn't intelligent. Big Country, we got prime Donaldson tonight. Yeah, we did. Brash was a starter earlier this year. No reason he couldn't have done 2 innings. I know. Agreed. Silly by Service there. Truffles, what's the news on the Sonics? We coming back anytime soon? There was a story that came out earlier this year that 2024, the NBA was going to expand with Vegas and Seattle. And then the commissioner for the NBA came out and shot that down. Said, no, that's not really accurate. It's not really true. So we've heard whispers that they are going to come back sooner than later. It does appear it would be through an expansion franchise, but we've still not been given the timetable. Sector 7, I agree. I love Brash. I do too. I like his stuff. It's a young kid finding his way to me a little bit. And they've put him in, they've said he's no longer a starter. He needs to go to the pen, and I'm okay with that. But he should be your long pen guy then. You don't bring him out for an inning to me. Get him out there and let him go. 2-3 innings when he's rolling out. We are taxing this bullpen, and we've got to start finding some relief somewhere. Chrono says we are doing the exact wrong thing to make a playoff push. Our bullpen is something we need to protect when the game is out of reach. Agreed. I've been pretty happy this year with Service in the way that he's managed the bullpen, but tonight's been a bit of an oddity. Big Country says odd. He stole the words out of my mouth there. Big Country says odd because Service is usually good with bullpen management. Yeah, usually okay with it. I'll just call it a one-off problem tonight. I don't know what he was thinking necessarily with it, but just something got into him with it, with wanting to keep these guys on a short pull, I guess. Two-8-3 says we need Luis to come up big tomorrow. Boy, do we ever. We need 7-8 innings of work tomorrow. Not to mention we got to come out of that game with a win. So Luis has got to carry the day, and hopefully he can match that performance he provided in New York last week. Because we need it. Six guys that we used today. Get through this Yankee lineup with 8 runs. Mariners only able to get 4 hits, 28 at-bats in this game. 5 runners left on base, 7 strikeouts. They have drawn 3 walks. So tomorrow we got Garrett Cole going up against Luis Castillo. Garrett's 9-4 with a 3.56 ERA, and Castillo's 2.95 with a 5.4 record. And then Robbie Ray going up against Nestor Cortez and his mustache on Wednesday. Come on, Robbie and Luis. Chrono says, is it tomorrow or Wednesday that Julio's supposed to come back from the IL? I think that they're still playing it a little bit by ear, Chronos. And I think that there's a little bit of maybe a push to say, let's take the one off day for Thursday and have him come back Friday. So if I was a betting man, I would say you're not going to see him till Friday. Matt Vesta takes the hill now in 33 games, a 3.58 ERA. Opponent's hitting 205 off of him for the year. 46 strikeouts in 32 innings and 8 walks. Two-8-3 says it might be Friday. His wrist was still vibrating during BP. Oh, jeez, that's not good. That's not good. Truffle says I'm going to put on MLB The Show versus the Yankees on easy. That's one way to salve the wounds. I might have to do that myself. I got MLB The Show last year, and I was trying to get back into it after years of not playing it. It's a well-made game. I like, especially with what they do versus what you see from other franchises like NBA 2K and Madden. But boy, is it hard to hit a pitch if you turn up the settings to even like middling. I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older and I can't, my hand-eye coordination isn't there. I can play other games like shooters even to do all right. But it's tough. That game's hard to, if you have it on a hard setting or a medium setting with it, like, they don't make that easy. All right, Festa's in here, and he's quickly gone 3-0 to the first batter, and then soon walks him. Oh, we get the porn coming in here late, huh? Okay. Well, it's about that time, right? It's about that time for the porn to come in and mess up the chat. They keep trying to get you to click their links. But I can't go for that. No can do. I can't go for that. Get your porn out the room. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Mr. Porn. All right, 1-0 count now to Jose Trevino. He hits it high, and this ball is going to find a way down for a base hit, and this will score a runner. Festa coming in, just can't quite find the zone, and that will put this up to a 93 game. This game is over. Dude, really? Really with the porn? Come on now. You can do this right now. You can do this right now. Okay. Okay. Kronos, watching Brandon play it on Twitch. There are times even with perfect swings, the game decides you're going 0 for 3 or 0 for 4. That's how it kind of felt. I just didn't have the time to put in to get good at it. I'm sure I could figure out, but I just got so angry with it. And I would even be looking for pitches to your point, like look for a pitch in a zone with my swing where this is where I'm swinging. If it's out of that, I'm going to take. And then it would be in my zone and I'd be on it and I'd still miss the pitch and just, it's a frustrating game. It's probably made, I like games that do that make it hard, that give you a degree of difficulty on it, but the degree of difficulty is there. Somebody said easy setting. I think that's right. Jason Haas says, gosh, 9-3. This is bad. Yeah, this is getting away from us here. Mariner pitchers just haven't been able, the bullpen was fine, but Festa and Gilbert in this game haven't been able to find much of the strike zone. Ethan says, quick brag on the MLB The Show. I play on all-star hitting difficulty and legend pitching, highest in franchise mode. I'd brag about that too if I could. Like I said, I was barely handling the mid-grade setting, so it's like, this is stupid. Game's dumb. Festa manages to get a fly out there, but some more damage here by the Yankees as they keep pushing that lead up, pushing and pushing and pushing. 283 says Madden's terrible. Truffles, Madden, 2K are horrible. Major League Baseball shows what made me get into baseball. Yeah, MLB The Show has not yet undergone the flu-like symptoms that have taken hold of Madden and 2K, which are the MUT mode, the super teams, right? Where you get people who buy the game and then you get people who buy the cards and they try to keep their super teams and it's all about the online play. Madden went off the rails when it went away from franchise mode to being all about the online play. And it's devolved the game. And I love Madden. I used to play Madden religiously. I play that game way too much. And I hate those super team stuff. Playing online's dumb. You get cheesers and guys like that. It doesn't play like a normal football game, and then they completely have basically destroyed the franchise mode. No, I won't be buying Madden for a very, very long time, and I really wish somebody else would get at least that football would open up the contracts and let other people use the licensing. And 2K, unfortunately, has looked at Madden, and they're like, that's the business model we now want to follow, because 2K used to be good, and then they went, Madden's really getting it done here with the money. It's those whales, man. Those whales who come in on those super teams and they buy the game and then they spend thousands of dollars on the game after they buy it. And the games are sort of catering to those people. Truffles, I would say Madden's worse, but they're both trash. Yeah, they're both bad. Big country sports games have fallen off so much. They really have. Quite frankly, I think the whole video game industry right now is in the darkest place it's been in their history in the last 30 years. Growing up, we always were getting upgrades and always getting, the next game would come out, you'd play for 6 to 9 months, and then there'd be another game to come out and you could check out. And now no games have come out. Look at these new systems with PlayStation and Xbox, and they've been out for 2 years. What's come out? What's come out that's been new? What's come out that's pushing the envelope? Nothing. It's like all these video game companies want to make mobile games and then loot box games and again, let's go find whales. And so you end up with just horrible, horrible gameplay over and over again. I've been burned so many times. 283 says you literally can't even change your offense to free agents. You have to pay them what they want. Yeah, they just don't care. They don't want, because here's the thing is that they purposely are messing up the franchise mode because they don't want people to play franchise. Why? Because you're not putting any extra money into playing franchise mode. But if you play the MUP mode and the super team mode, well, now you're going to have to buy cards. Now you're real likely to spend some money on it. And so there's a little bit of a soft shoulder sort of pushing people over to the MUT mode because they become frustrated with the franchise, but they do want to play Madden. It's very dirty pool on the part of Madden doing it that way. But I do believe it is purposeful. And yeah, 283, you can't front load or back load contracts. They don't have things accurately contractual wise to what is on the books. I don't know what numbers they're using, but it's inaccurate. It's just, but again, I think it's easy enough. To me, it's such an easy fix for them. The fact that they let it for a yearly basis be a problem and have people moaning about it yearly and then don't address it is just indicative of the fact that they understand that they want to let it be. I mean, they're not really all that interested in fixing it. Jason Oss says, when will Falefa get a home run? I think it's actually impossible for him. I don't think he's got enough juice to make it happen. I don't. Too small. He's a little guy. He's just a little guy. And Eugenio Suarez is about to start out the great Mariner rally here, the great 6-run rally here in the bottom of the ninth. He's got a 2-2 count here against Holmes, who's taken over for Aroldis Chapman. 2-2 delivery, bounced foul. Sector 7 says, man, I remember when EA had good games. The classic Need for Speed games come to mind. Those were great games. Yeah, there's been so many other eras that you could say were golden eras in the video game industry, and we are very far out now. I feel bad for kids growing up in this time where you're not getting that excitement that we got, where it was everything, the envelope kept getting pushed further and further. The graphics kept getting better and better. Another foul there by Suarez. It was always the excitement for what came new. But what are we excited about? What's on deck? You guys are gamers. You know, what is the game we're looking at here in the near future that we're like, yeah, that's the one that I'm really like salivating over. And if you say a game, you're probably going to say some first-person game, which it's fine. There's some great first-person games that are doing okay. But, Suarez hit right in the middle of his back. That's got to hurt a little bit. One of those ones you go, really, man? Is up by 6 runs. Can you not just put it in the plate? Put it in the plate. Stop hitting our batters. Why are our guys got to be all hit? Are y'all so scared of us? You always got to constantly hit. And he's not purpose hit him. Of course, that's a slider that just got out of his hand and away from him. Two83 says they don't change anything because people still buy the game. It's literally the same game with updated rosters. 100%. People have caught him through the years too, right? On like, you'll go to practice screens and you'll find something that says 2018 on a 2021 game, showing it's not only been there for 1 year, but multiple years they haven't changed it over in that one little part. Yeah, and that's why I stopped buying it as well. I'm not going to support something that is so broken. And we're just talking about the dynasty stuff. Like the gameplay itself has been pretty garbage too. It's not just the dynasty aspect. It's also just the gameplay itself of Madden, which has been woeful. All right, Suarez, as I said, starting off this rally. Carlos Santana up the plate, taking a 1-0 count. Takes a big swing on that one, 1-1. Yeah, I think Filet would need some roids, Jason. I agree. He's getting one out. Ethan says, agreed, video games in the dark ages. They don't even make complete games anymore. It's maybe 50% done and then 5 years worth of updates later and all your money and it's a finished game. Yeah, it's completely broken in so many ways. You know, I bought this Battlefield 2 game back last year as one of those games that, we have a new system. Here's a game that's historically been pretty good. Let's go. And I mean, that game was such hot garbage. 1-1 pitch here to Carlos Santana. Bounced foul. It was such hot garbage. We stopped playing it like the first night, me and my buddies. We can't do this. Can't play this thing. It's unplayable. AAA rated game. Which AAA doesn't mean nothing anymore. And yeah, it sucks that we are in this dark ages, Ethan. I thought at this point we were going to be all fully rolling with the VR. We could do virtual realistic football stuff, right? Like you're actually playing the football players on the field. I thought we were going to be in this advanced state of things. And instead, for some reason, it was like 2016 or so, things just came to a screeching halt in the video game industry. 1-2 here to Carlos Santana. Ooh, he almost swung. No. That umpire's not trying to go home early. 2-2. Good job of holding up by Carlos. Jason says, why does EA need so much money? I mean, they must have tens of billions of dollars. 2-2. Nice tough pitch fouled out by Carlos. Good job of fighting that one off. As we see with folks that get rich, it usually seems to be a tendency. Once you get rich and richer beyond anything that you could spend in 10 lifetimes, you seem to want more on top of that. I don't know why that's the given human nature of things, but that seems to be the way it is. And it's a business model that's working for them. It's successful for them right now. I think that beautiful pitch there by Holmes on a four-seam fastball that just rode right back in over the inside part of the plate for strike three. If you're Santana, you can be mad about that, but that was a good pitch. Very good pitch. And, the only thing that's going to stop EA is if they start to actually lose money on the product. That's the only thing. Otherwise, they'll be emboldened. Big Country, GTA 6, Rockstar isn't the same company more after GTA Online. Yeah, GTA Online. And what drove people to GTA Online, in my opinion, Big Country, was the state of the video game industry. There were no games out, right? You have people out there searching and pulling through old titles and going back and playing games that were years prior have coming out. And then you started to have this community that grew out of the GTA Online as guys went, well, let's go back and try this and we'll just role play and do this stuff. Because we're just trying to find a way to make games fun again. And you see this in people's desperation to do so. And yeah, indeed, now it has cold up. It's even gotten to now GTA because now it's like, well, why come out with a new game if we got online and online's rolling? And it's like with EA. It's like, well, if I'm making money hand over fist, why change anything? You just think there would be some studio out there that would see the opening in this market. 0-2 to JP. And he gets a nice little base hit out there. 2 runners on now. Good piece of hitting by Crawford. Going with the pitch. Part of the problem, though, is, of course, too, these big studios, on top of being complete a-holes and crapping out complete asshat games, they also have an annoying tendency of going out and buying some of the vibrant, small, smart studios. And you end up with some of the good studios being just basically pilfered, because they don't take those studios and keep them going at the same rate. They just sort of bring them into the Borg. Even Rockstar Games is heading down the drain. I actually enjoy GTA 4 way more than 5. Yeah, agreed. Cal Raleigh up to the plate now. He hit a big old home run on his last swing. Again, one of the more deeper portions of the park here. It's hard to put it out there in the sort of straightaway area of right field. 1-0 count here. Hits this one again high, but gets a little bit under this one. That will be out, number 2. The best game is the last 10 to 15 years is Red Dead Redemption 2. That's the last truly amazing game I feel like I've played. That one did definitely. I haven't gotten around to that one, Ethan. Part of that, though, again, to me is the first player games don't do anything for me. I like with video games the multiplayer aspect of things. But that one's definitely a legitimate one. And there are a few that I would say are legitimate in the last 5 years, but I would put that one in that realm. Yaquan Hang, do you think Mitch Haniger will be back to the Mariners after this offseason? Very good chance. I think that he will. Yeah, they've got the money to spend on him. I don't know what he's going to command on the open market, but you certainly could. First pitch swinging by Haggerty, knocked down the line for a base hit. This will bring in Eugenio Suarez. 9-4 Mariners. Well, hey, a little bit of life here in the 9th inning. How about that? Nice piece of hitting by both JP and Haggerty here. Not trying to do too much with either of these two pitches as the pitches are falling away from them. Just going with that fall away action, going with it in your swing. But it's hard, to know for sure if you're bringing Mitch or not, because you just don't know what the market's going to necessarily be for him. And I don't know. We've got to find out where baseball contracts are going to go into this offseason a little bit. But again, you're Your payroll's so light right now. You can absolutely bring him back. Sector 7, I have nearly 1,000 hours in a game made by a very small dev crew. I had more fun with that than any AAA game in the last 5 years. There you go, man. I'm not surprised. I'm the same way. The games I'm playing on a normal basis would surprise you with where it's at. Like I know it's weird because it's considered a kid game, but I like playing Fortnite. I play Fortnite all the time. I love that game. And I'd love to play a different game. I'd love to not be playing it 24/7. After 4 years of playing it, I'm definitely ready for a new game, but I don't want to play Call of Duty, Warzone. I played Call of Duty for 20 years. It's the same game. 1-1 pitch here to Adam Frazier. Knocked right back to the pitcher, and this will wrap things up. Well, they did get a 1-1 last run there in the last inning, but tough game for your Mariners tonight. Tough game. Normally able to be perfect in the field. They weren't able to be so tonight. Normally Logan Gilbert is able to be money for you as a starter, and he really struggled throughout. Not just one bad inning, but had a couple of bad innings. Just getting hit hard by this good hitting Yankee team. First game of the series, we lost the Yankees in New York. Now we've lost the first game of the series here in Seattle. So we got 2 more to kind of make this whole again. We've got a couple of good pitchers going to the hill over the next 2 nights. But certainly a rough game here from your Mariner crew. Sector 7 says, damn, had fun chatting though. Hopefully we'll come back tomorrow. Hopefully so. I will try if I can to stream tomorrow, by the way. I think I should be able to. Ethan says, for a multiplayer game in the last 10 years, I'd say Rainbow Six Siege. I had a lot of fun with that and kept going back to it. I haven't found a multiplayer game that I love and can play with the boys. Not one in years. Yeah, there just hasn't been one. That's why I like the Fortnite too. It's very team-centric with the guys I get on and play versus some of the other games where it is, even in multiplayer, it's really about a guy being a hero in the game more than anything else. But hell, I play Civilization 6. I like that game. Hell, that game's been out 7 years. You know, I'd like to be playing something new, but just can't. Well, your Mariners got batted around a little bit here, and Logan certainly is maybe getting a little tired here as the year's going along. He's got a lot of innings on that arm. Young kid just coming along and learning it, but had a rough night tonight. Sector 7 says, Brandon, let's hit some civs sometime. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. I'm down. I go huge map. I go huge. Got to take down a big world on that one. We're talking 500 moves, man. Better be ready to invest yourself. He says, yeah, flush this game down the toilet. On tomorrow to Castillo. That's right. On tomorrow to the big addition, Luis Castillo. He was nails in his first action out there on the mound in New York last week. Let's see if he can pick us back up again. We desperately do need it. Julio is a mere few days away from returning back to the lineup. We've already seen Mitch Haniger coming back and him being able to help this lineup as well. Continue to maybe see this bring this team along a little bit. As we said, we're through the toughest part of our schedule here was going to be right at the end of the All-Star break. 2 series against the Astros, 2 series against the Yankees. It wasn't going to be easy, but we just got to get through it. Even we got to muddle through it a little bit. We just got to get through it. Not going any bad losing streaks. Keep yourself winning series overall. Get ourselves into the back end of August here and see what we can do. 283 says, game couldn't have gone worse, but chatting with you was definitely fun. Well, thank you, 283. It's great chat with you guys, too. I always have an awesome time with you guys, though, in the chat, be it here or over on the Hawk's Nest. I have the PC to go max turns. Oh, do you? Well, I'm Spectre. I've played it so much. I'm deity settings, and in 500 turns, every time I'm going to take out I'll take out the world on deity. I played that game way too much. That's my meditative game. That's that game where you turn on a Pink Floyd album, put on Civilization 6, and just roll. Like that's when I'm trying to get into my Buddhist Zen-like state. Buddhist state. Jason, the porn? Yeah, the porn always comes in late. They know we're about to wrap it up. Kronos on tomorrow, folks. Well, thank you to all the folks jumping on in here to the chat. We've been having some great growth here on the channel, just rounded out over 300 subscribers on our way here. We will continue to make this a very normal part of the channel. So if I'm not back tomorrow, I probably would be back Wednesday, but I think I'm going to shoot for tomorrow to get back on it. So we'll see if we can bounce back tomorrow. You guys are great in the chat. Love having the discussion in it. I like these baseball streams because of the fact, not like football, you're on every play and you got to be going. We can kind of just have some nice, good, just general low-key discussion. So I really do enjoy that. Appreciate you guys. Have yourself a good night. We'll get back with it tomorrow. We still are on our way here. This is still a very good team. Don't lose the faith, my Mariner fans. I know we're on shaky ground, but stay, hold, brave heart, hold. Keep your spear in place. They may yet surprise us yet. My name is Brandon Kane. Thank you for watching. Hit that like button if you could for me, please, on your way out the door. But please do not forget, beyond all that, never forget, go Mariners.